Just gonna take a minute and dance for a second, guys.
Okay, we're dancing.
I was waiting. I was waiting for this
I'm like-
intro, and it didn't
Okay,
come.
okay.
It didn't come, no.
Idiot standing here.
No, I just wanted to
We're
sit
all
there and
just like-
dance to our intro music, bro. Our intro music is fire.
Goodness
Yeah, but
gracious.
we don't hear it.
Oh, that's
is,
too bad.
but
You
we
guys
don't
should be
hear it.
listening.
Kinda
That's on
audio
y'all.
cue would have been nice.
That's on
to-
y'all.
to
No,
have
I'm just
right
gonna
there,
sit. No,
Or
no,
warning.
no. I'm just
Oh
gonna
my
sit there and
gosh.
dance. Let me dance. Let me have my
Enigma could have done
moments.
the robot, but instead he's just standing there being a
En-
robot.
Enigma
So-
is a
Yeah.
robot. What are you talking about? He's constantly doing the robot. Oh man, welcome to episode number 104. Chat. We are live here
You're
on.
looking very blue today.
Well,
You said
I mean,
Dabu-dee,
after
dabu-die.
I mean, bro, after
Little-
after the day that I've had with some shit I've had to deal with, it's okay. I can be blue, but it's okay because you know what? I got my cyber beer. I just want to let you guys know I did get it. It's right
Cyber
there.
Beer.
They're
Is
right
that-
there.
is
It's a
that
Tesla emblem. Tesla
Beer?
emblem.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yep.
Is
Yep.
that like what they came in, or is that like they give you like a mug to drink it out of?
Yeah, they give you a mug to drink it out of.
I think it's probably
Wow.
just a fucking PBR out of a mug.
It's
Yeah,
not PBR.
probably.
It's extra hoppy, so it's not a PBR. PBR is not that hoppy.
Extra hoppy.
It's I don't know. It's
No, I
it's
think-
it's not bad. But no, they give
I
they
think
give
upped
you.
the hops on it, man.
I wouldn't have I shouldn't have thrown away the box, but they give you this nice like big box, and it comes with these two like ceramic cups or whatever else that are all like edged, and obviously
It's probably an IPA.
it doesn't. It's not like it.
Is
This cup has no form or function. Like it's the hardest thing to
It's
drink out of
Tesla,
because it's so
right?
angled. Yeah.
yeah. I mean that makes sense. I
You know,
mean,
bet if you
yeah.
threw
yeah.
that mug at a Cybertruck, it'd crack the window.
It would probably
I
crack
was-
the window. Yeah.
I was gonna actually bring that up. Did you guys watch the video of Joe Rogan?
Yeah, shooting an arrow?
Shooting it,
an arrow
yeah.
at it, and
Yeah.
it fucking completely ruined that arrow. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, then they come in these really fancy glass like things that are wrapped, and it says "Cheers, friend." And I don't know. Anyway, it's fine.
And
I'm-
and Elon
I'm a
Musk,
Tesla
he
shill.
sent that out himself, kissed it, and put his
yeah,
love
absolutely.
into it.
Yeah. Well, I
His love
mean,
as in his
Amaranth put
love.
her yeast in the beer. I don't want to know what Elon put in
Us-
his beer,
when,
bro.
When you came on originally, that's what I was like. I was like, you were like, hey, guess what I got, guys? Guess what? I was like, he got Amaranth's Puseta beer. That's what he got. I guarantee it.
That's what we should call it. That's a good
That sounds
name.
Really fancy.
Puseta. Puseta
Puseta.
beer.
That sound like very
Puseta
bougie.
beer.
Bougie.
Puseta.
Puseta.
It's something.
Yeah.
It is something.
Wow.
Anyway.
It is indeed something.
Well, welcome to episode number 104. If this is your first time, look, this is how
Started
we.
off demonetized right off the bat, baby.
Oh yeah.
This is why you come here. This is why you come to this show. Is because we are true and real, and we're not fake and bought out and all this other kind of stuff. So we are a real deal
Yes.
show. We are yet. Just waiting for that money.
Come on, Elon.
Tesla.
Somebody.
Tesla,
Yeah,
get a hold
somebody.
of us. We'll be sponsored by Tesla.
Well, we
dude.
got
Let's
what?
go.
So hold
Come
on. We have Oodles and Noodles, right? We're waiting on their stuff, right? Cup of Noodles are waiting on their
Couple
sponsorship.
noodles with their
Um,
game of noodles. Yeah.
What else? We had Monster with the Beast beer. We
Yeah,
now have
yeah.
we have Tesla with their beer. I'm just trying. I'm trying.
Amaranth.
I'm trying.
I'm just saying Amaranth.
Sure, Amaranth, sure.
Whatever, you know.
That
throw-
Goosey
throw
Bu-
your-
Time
throw your
ago,
shot.
I had the buzz balls. That
Zach,
was
you
a
had the
long
yep.
time
You
ago.
had the buzz balls.
Yeah,
Who
he
is
did have
who
the
is
buzz
doing
balls.
who's doing the sound effect? Is that you, Bill? You gotta.
That's no sound effect. That's just me.
Oh, I
That's his
thought that was.
reaction.
I
That
thought
was
you
his
just had like
reaction.
a.
It's like, wait, what?
I thought you had a thing on a like a Go XLR going what? But I guess not. So it's
No,
fine.
no, I just sound that way when stupid stuff is in my ears.
Well, you got it.
Sounds
Get
that way
ready.
all the time, man.
Buckle
We-
up because you
We talk-
you got 2 hours of it. You better get ready. So, but anyway, like I said,
Yeah.
episode 104. If you're new to the show, this is how we start off every show, right? We always have a little bit of fun and and it's a good time. But if this is not your first time, we'll welcome in. We are live on Twitch and YouTube, and if you happen to miss the show or need to leave early, you need to first take a long look at your life, figuring out what the fuck you're doing while leaving our show. But then after that, you can go catch us
You
on
gotta go to the
Spotify.
hospital after Amaranth's beer.
I actually do have to leave the show,
Yeah.
guys. I forgot to tell you, I have a date.
Yeah, you got a
You got a
date.
date?
Yeah,
Yeah,
date.
yeah. I got you.
I unfortunately have to go, but
I'm gonna tell you right now, you better write up a prenup real quick because I'm telling you, we ain't gonna like if I'm letting you know this, but I'm just making sure my wife's not around. If we would have done this if this would have been a Wednesday podcast, I would have canceled my anniversary, not in front of my wife, but I would have.
Wow. Woo, we're clipping that.
I was about to say, you realize we're doing this live and it
Yeah.
gets recorded, right?
It's okay.
we're
It's all right.
clipping that.
She
Don't
doesn't.
send
You
it
might
to
you might
Sim's
not
wife.
get beat today, but you'll get beat later.
Personally.
Okay.
I've
It's
got her Instagram. I'm gonna send that to her personally.
Yeah, go ahead. That's okay.
gonna be
She
a clip.
knows.
That's
She
gonna-
knows.
That's gonna be a short right there.
She knows. But anyway,
Yeah.
we are we're live and we're having a great time. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're gonna jump right into it. We're not gonna waste any more time that we've already wasted. But we kick off every single episode with talking about the news from the different streaming platforms that are out there. There was not a whole lot of news that came from like Twitch or he who should not be named. And then there was another one from Rumble, but not big enough to like we're gonna spend a whole big segment on it. If you're Twitch, just want to highlight they changed their requirement now for instant uploads for follower emotes, and that's now basically gone. They did this like meme like thing where if one person or quote tweets it or retweets it or makes a comment, they'll remove it. So they did. So now you can instant upload your follower alerts or follower emotes. Kind of cool. And then hype chat is now getting taken away, and that's going into being rolled into bits. I don't think that's a shocker. I mean, it was
No.
Is by that meaning is it hype chat is staying but it's using bits now, or is hype chat just gone completely?
Well, hype
Like-
chat always used bits.
they're removing it completely.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
It did. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it used. I think it
it
used
was,
bits and subs.
Yeah, it was bits and subs for
really? Okay.
from the start. So
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're just
no-
they're just
no
getting
Are we
rid
talking
of it.
about like the hype train feature?
No,
the
just
chat,
no,
like,
no,
it was
just
a
hype
super
chat.
like that YouTube had.
Oh, like
Yeah.
super chat. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So
oh, I thought we were talking about hype train. Okay.
no, hype
no,
train is
maybe
staying. No,
it's-
this is
Maybe
hype.
it didn't use bits.
It did. It used bits
Did
and
it?
it
Okay.
used and then they had this thing where you could pay. So it used like bits, subs, and then real money donations. And so you could the real purpose that they were trying to get away from like PayPal and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
everybody hated it
And
because
it's
of,
trying failed.
Yeah, they're trying to
Right.
any way to mitigate that and have more control over.
right. So
people are donating
so
with.
so they hated it, and so they or everybody hated it, so they got rid of it. So that's kind of
Yeah.
where it got left off at.
Well, hey,
that
at least
one-
they got rid of it.
That went away.
I guess. Yeah, sure.
On the YouTube side of things, though, we do have some
Mm.
news, which is that they are introducing a
First-
For You section.
First YouTube news in like
It's been a
5
while.
episodes, man.
Which is
Yeah,
not-
it has been.
and-
Not uncommon, honestly. It is the end of the year, right? Like you're not going to get a lot of like that kind. Like news is going to
They're
be
too busy negotiating contracts with advertisers for next year.
right. Like
Yeah,
it's
true.
few and far between. So
fighting ad blockers, as
So-
Scruffy found out today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was literally fighting one just before this.
so
Yeah.
um.
But the For
yeah.
You page is actually a good step in the right direction, I think. And the good thing about it is if you hate it, you can turn it off.
What? So what?
So
What
is
what
this
is
For
it?
You
Yeah, if
page?
you wanna,
Is it just like is it like TikTok's For You page? Like it's just like more targeted towards you, which I thought it already was.
Yeah, it's going to be more targeted towards you instead of like the general
The general what's trending.
yeah, it'll be less trending stuff, more niche stuff. It's supposed
Yeah.
to aim content that's better suited for you to you. It should also show your like stuff that you're subscribed to and subscriber adjacent things more often.
Dope.
So
Big
It's
big
cool.
moves, big moves.
That,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
good for growth too, for especially smaller channels. Because if people are subscribing to smaller channels, they're still only going to see the big ones pop up on the For You page. But
right.
with them now, kind of, I don't know, channeling and tunneling that down into what people are actually subscribed to, it might actually pop up with some smaller feeds here and there too. I don't know. Maybe. That's my thought at
Hopefully.
least. Yeah, it would be nice.
I need you guys to keep chatting because I'm annoyed and trying to get this image to look okay. There's
are
a,
we just chatting? Is that
you're
the
just
stream
chatting
now?
right now. Yeah. So keep,
That's the next thing.
Yeah.
Is it just chatting specific home tab segment. So
I mean, why not, bro? Why not?
why not? I mean,
Hey, what,
Twitch does it.
what are you
Kick
what are you
does it.
trying to make an image of? Like what
who me?
yeah.
I'm trying to. There's a little black bar that was at the top of the news section that was really
Oh my
annoying me, and so
God.
I was like getting
Oh
it crunched
my
down and making
God.
sure. Don't judge me, bro. This is why we have you have me as
My
a
God.
producer, bro. I got to
Your
make sure
host
everything looks
has
good.
OCD.
Yeah, dude. I do. Like
Yeah, as a
there's
producer,
Micro
you
details.
there's
should be
so-
producing the show, not making graphics.
there's something that's irritating me right now on Scruffy's thing. And I can't fix it. And I got to fix it later. Anyway.
Oh,
Sorry,
my
I can't
God.
fix this. All right.
Yeah. It's that dirt stash. I can't get rid of.
Yeah.
I can't get
Hey,
that out.
man, it's for a good cause. All right.
Oh my god. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One thing I'm not sure about with this thing in particular is they almost make it seem like it is going to be integrated into like your channel.
Yeah, that's what I
Like,
was gonna say. Is it doesn't seem like it's like a wide ranging thing. It seems more like it's channel specific rather than being like algorithmic. You know?
Algorithmic. Yeah. sounds
So,
nice.
like, whenever somebody clicks on your profile specifically, it should bring up a customized list.
It'll bring up like a
Of
list of
your
videos
content.
of your content of videos that would match this, random person that we're talking about interests from your
Yeah.
content, from what I
Okay.
understand.
Yeah. So if you have like 2 or 3 things, like if you're a From Software games to a Square Enix games and stuff, and somebody only likes Square Enix style games, it should pull just the Square Enix stuff up to the top for them. Should, in theory.
In theory, yeah.
So
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how
Yeah.
that works out. But
and again, you can turn it off and back on, and then off
I'm
again,
always that's
and
what
then
I'm
back
really
on again.
for,
And if it
is-
doesn't work, turn it off and then back on.
Yeah, it's for the control over that. I like when they come out with features that you can actually customize yourself.
Well,
or
they
like, you
they
know,
kind of have to, especially with stuff that could
Yeah.
potentially affect your homepage. You don't want it to like
Exactly.
muddy up what you're going for. So
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see.
Have you fixed it yet, Sin? I don't know. Like,
Yes.
actually,
I'm sitting here letting you guys finish talking. I'm playing with my
I had no idea what
my
was even
dials
the
and-
issue. You're
It's nothing now.
so-
Now I'm just looking at other stuff and be like, "Oh, we could change this, and I need to get this." And Enigma, I've already written down notes for things I need you to change on our.
Sit-
he's
What's
he's
this
playing
cyber
he's
dude doing to
playing
him,
he's
man?
playing World or Warcraft Rumble.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
actually what I am playing, and this is a great next section to go talk about what we've been playing. Is I've actually been playing For the King. So this is the section of it where we talk about for way to ruin my segue, bro. You dick.
You ruined it.
Anyway, this is the next section of the show where we talk about games that we've been playing,
The
and
thing
since
I'm happy about with this is For the King finally has 4 players. They're actually being true
Yeah,
to
man.
their name now. It,
Yep.
it was always For the King, but you could only play with 3. It didn't make any goddamn sense.
yeah, well, it's 4 players. Also graphically, it's really good. Bill, I had to take a step back because Bill legitimately was just like, "You guys, shut the fuck up, guys. And just took control." And I'm
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
We're
I'm
all about
sorry.
taking control on this podcast.
I'm like, what
you,
the hell?
You are no longer the producer. We are
What
all
the hell?
producers.
Anyway.
we are full
No, he's
producers.
he's no longer the host. He's just the producer now.
I'm just the producer. Yeah. Okay. Well, go ahead, host it. Go, be my guest. Keep going. Go ahead.
This is the game you.
this is your game, bro.
Well, you wanted to host
You asked us
anyway.
to speak for you.
For the King. If you're unfamiliar with what For the King 2 or the series For the King, this is obviously the sequel, and we've played and talked about For the King for a while, but it is basically a top-down board game style game where tactics,
Turn-based.
RPG, D&D. You essentially have different characters, different classes that you get to choose from, and you go through this world doing quests and leveling up, getting gear, ultimately to be able to just survive as long as you possibly can. And while you're doing that, you're earning points to be able to unlock other characters, armor, random generated stuff, just all of these things inside of the world. It's a blast. Like it is so much fun. For the King, I would recommend getting For the King 2, but if you wanted, obviously, For the King 1 is out there and it's a really great time. They didn't really do too much about changing the mechanics of the game. As far as, what you do, they did change, a fefew things. So For the King, original one, you had 3 players, like Bill was saying, but also you were very stagnant. Like you just did a line. Like everybody was in a line. There was no
Yeah.
like 3D to it. It was just 1, 2, 3. You stood in a line, and that's it. This one, they've added a element when you go into combat where you're actually on a 4x4 grid, so that you can, or I'm sorry, a 4x2 grid, so that you can actually move, move forward and backward. You have area of effect spells, these different, which I like these different spell spaces where if you go into somewhere where it's raining, like one spot may be wet and one other spot may not. So that gives you different status effects. But the overarching, like how you play the game mechanic wise, really stayed the same.
That's good. I mean, honestly, like that's that was one thing that I was kind of worried about when they first announced for the King 2, because like you look at games like
Darkest Dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon, that's the one I was looking for. Yeah, where they completely changed how the game plays, completely changed everything about the game. And granted, I've heard the Darkest Dungeon 2
from a new IP, really.
Yeah, and granted, I've heard the Darkest Dungeon 2 isn't bad, but like if you went into Darkest Dungeon 2 thinking, oh well, it's just gonna be Darkest Dungeon 1 but better, it's a completely different game. So I was really happy about that.
That's lightest dungeon.
That's slightly dim dungeon.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so I was really glad when they announced this to see that they were keeping like the turn-based strategy, like the board game-esque, where you're like on diagonals and horizontals and all that shit. So
and it's good too that it seems like they added just enough to separate it still, to make it, what, like I said, a sequel rather than a whole new thing.
Well, I like this. I like this system.
That positioning update, like that, like grid in combat positioning update is just really cool.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I liked the positioning and everything like that, because like not only is it like AOE's and everything like that, but like if you, for instance, like Sin was playing me as a tank, and like if you were standing behind me as a tank, you got like an armor
upgrade
boost,
or something.
Yeah, like a defense boost of some sort.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah, it's fun. It's one of those things. It's like there's not a lot of reasoning to, change a bunch. Like it was pretty much a perfect experience for the most part. Like but what they did change and adds to a new element, even to the fact of like a lot of the like starting encounters. And if you're watching live, like you can see that grid that we're talking about. But even some of the starting encounters and starting missions that you did almost feel very unique. Like one of the missions was like, oh, you go and you have to go down in the cellar. And like that was in the very first one, and you go down in the cellar and there's 3 guys, 2 of them are drunk and one of them's not. Like that's still there. So but they added a lot of different, like I said, spells that you didn't have before, AoE spells that you didn't have before,
new classes.
There's new classes. There's new classes.
Yeah, nice.
That are there. And graphically it really is beautiful. Like
I don't like it.
Are you serious?
No.
You don't like it?
Really?
I honestly prefer the more old school, like almost blockier look to the characters
the more Minecrafty. Okay.
Yeah, I prefer
like
that look.
this
This is like an awkward space between them trying to go like.
What this looks like is Animal Crossing graphics. I don't know if anyone else gets.
I don't know.
I disagree with that. I don't know. I love it, bro.
I prefer the art style of 1, 2. I can admit that this is graphically more impressive. It is just I prefer the taste and the flavor.
I get that
from 1. I'm not sold on this grid system, but I would probably have to play it to get used to it.
I don't know. I mean, to each his own. I love the graphics upgrade. I think it's beautiful. I put a lot of time into For the King. Not saying you didn't, right? But I put a lot of time in For the King. And
I beat 3 of the campaigns.
It was charming, and it was like, don't get me wrong, and like the graphics were cool. But when I first booted this up and was like, oh shit, like the characters have like real faces and like they look very, like, I was like, oh, I like it.
I don't like how zoomed out the camera is. It's just awkward. I feel. I'm nitpicking at this point, but
so I actually
I was about to say, I'm curious to see if they had to, given the grid system.
So here's the thing: is that I actually think that the camera zoom is the same. It's just that they didn't have the grid, so the character models themselves were larger and front and closer together. So I actually think that this is the exact same camera angle.
I do feel like it's got to be a little bit more zoomed out, because you are compared to
it's definitely the same camera angle, but yeah, it's definitely zoomed out. I
don't think it is. I mean, I got to go back and look at the other one, but the only reason I say that is because again, the character models themselves are smaller. right? So they're smaller because they fit on a 4x4. But I'm pretty sure that this is the same camera angle. I may or camera
We are
zoom
really
this
Either way.
way.
skipping now.
Yeah,
We
but
are-
I
I was gonna
mean-
say either way, it doesn't really fucking matter.
One
way or another,
question
but-
I did have with this, and one thing that I was kind of curious about, is is there enough change to warrant an entire sequel game to it? Is this more than just like a expensive DLC for the King one, or could they have made it a DLC?
So not having played it long enough, right? Like I honestly have not put enough time in it to really sit there and say like, oh, I don't know how much more content is out there versus what we, originally played. So I have to say, like, from what I've played right now, it's hard to say like, yes, this is worth I think it's like $20.
30.
Gotcha.
Is it 30? Is it 30?
$29.99, yeah.
Okay, so it's on sale
What
for.
was
I think I got it on sale for 22. I think when it launched.
Or- Yeah, $24.99. I'm sorry. Not,
yeah,
not,
yeah. I was gonna
not
say I
30,
don't
so
think
25.
I think it's So I can't give you that honest answer, Bill. Like I don't know. Like
That's fine. That's fine.
graphically, like all of the part of me says no because again, it's from what I am seeing, it's graphic and the grid system, right? Which I think you could have done with an update. I think you could have done a grid system. I think you could have done, the either the graphic update or left it alone and maybe just, got something, and it'd been a free deal or just a paid DLC.
I do
yeah.
enjoy the fact that you can frontline and backline characters.
Yeah.
I think that is a novel thing because
Like
one of my
Enigma
biggest
was
issues
saying
with For the
like,
King
tank.
1
Yeah.
was that tanks had trouble tanking
Yeah.
unless they had a weapon that had like a taunt to it. Like it was
Taunt,
always
yeah.
a dice roll on what enemies were going to attack.
Oh, I just
and-
like how much more control this gives you too. Like it gives you at least a not a lot more control, but enough to make a difference because you were just stuck. Like you got into a battle in whatever position you were in. That's what you
So-
were in.
So I'm just reading over some of the details on their Steam page. So they're boasting or whatever, and I think I said that right. But boosting,
That's right.
boasting. I think it's boasting. They're boasting a 30-hour gameplay split between 5 separate adventures with narratively linked endings. The journey is long, path is treacherous. 4-party co-op, which I think that's one of those things where I think that I'm curious. We were talking about ARC last week, right? And how the engines don't really mix between the two, and it might be harder to develop for certain things on certain engines. I'm curious if the engine that they were using prior, like it was a limitation, an engine limitation for the 3 players, or if that was more of like a narrative or a gameplay decision made by the developers, right?
Right.
Could have been. Yeah.
So, but they're also boasting like on their roadmap. They're boasting an infinite dungeon mode, which I think we had in the first one. Did we not?
Yeah, there's an infinite
Yeah.
dungeon.
I think there was an infinite dungeon mode plus bards. They're bringing back bards, which bards were dope. I love the bards
Bards
in
are
For the
sick.
King 1.
I mean, there are
Yeah.
there are new classes, like there are new monsters, there are new weapons, and things like that. I need to get into it more, right, to be able to say like,
Yeah.
whether or not it's actually worth.
I need to pick it up.
$20. It's
I
a
need-
lot of.
I
I mean,
need to pick it up for sure.
what I would say is it's a lot of fun. It's very. Look, this is almost like Arc 2. If you really enjoyed For the King, you're really gonna enjoy For the King 2. And if you want to have 4 players, if you want to have the extra dynamic, then it's worth $25, right?
That's
Or
fine.
22 on sale.
I'm saying all this just because I probably will pick it up just because I enjoyed For the King 1 a decent amount. It's just I heard in demo that it was pretty buggy at times. Is it running
Yeah.
smoother?
I
now?
didn't have any bugs really. The only issue that I had that was kind of a pain in the ass is that they changed something. Like before you could just like hit pause, like the space bar to end your turn and move forward. There was some just kind of like quality of life optimizations that I feel like were missing in this one that they had in the other one. It just feels really weird.
Gotcha.
Like even just like being able to like scroll over people and see like, hey, like what are they wearing, what kind of armor do they have, like
Yeah.
what does this do, You know, like the spells. Like if I go over the spells, it will give me a very generic thing, but it doesn't tell me like doesn't give me a lot of information like what it does. So it's just certain things like that when I'm like, why did we take a step backward? Like why did we not like keep this function in the game versus taking it out? So those are the issues that I'm kind of having, which I feel are very common, you know,
it's getting unfortunately it's getting mixed reviews on Steam, but granted, you know, take that with a grain of salt. I take Steam reviews with a grain of salt half the time anyways.
And again, the demo was pretty buggy from what I understand, so a lot of those could be
from what
demo.
I'm understanding, from what I'm seeing, they released a hot fix today, and people are saying that like 99% of the bugs that they had on launch have been fixed with this hot fix that was released today, this morning.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. I'll probably end up picking it up. Like I said, graphically, I'm not impressed by it, but that's just because I prefer the art style. The overworld map looked a bit muddy too. Like it looked hard to figure out what terrain was what, but that's all nitpicks. At the end of the day,
I mean, there were some spots where it's like, can I not go through here versus can I go like almost because they wanted to graphically make everything feel more alive. Like one of the complaints I had of the old one is that eventually like there was just a lot of dead space and open space that you couldn't really do anything with. They filled that, but they filled that with terrain that you can't walk through versus filling it with like more areas. Again, within this we're only talking within the first like hour, right, of playing. We're not, you know, super and the biggest problem that I would say with doing that, because they filled it with like these forests and these mountains and these hills, is that you have to be more mindful. Like here, like I went into a fight being like, oh, Enigma is right behind this tree line, he'll be able to be in the fight, and he wasn't, right? And so it's kind of it makes it very frustrating in that sense.
That's your own fault for not fucking noticing the red shit, man.
Well, sure. But I'm just saying, like there's times where it feels like they should have been there and they're not. But all in all, it's a great. I mean, I've had fun with it. It's a really fun game. Like I mean, again, if you like For the King, this is more For the King. So
yeah,
good deal.
So that is that.
Wait, that's all the games?
Only one game this week?
I mean, outside of playing World of Warcraft, outside of playing Siege.
What?
That's
wow.
That's
I don't think I played anything else. Well, Enigma, you played a game, but you don't have footage for it, ass.
I mean, I don't have footage, and I want to get a little bit more time with it because it's a video game that I've been following for a while, and I think that the developer deserves me to put my time into the review. So
and I do have another game, but it's Warcraft Rumble, but we will talk about that whenever we talk about we're gonna talk about BlizzCon a little bit later on, and I'll talk about that during BlizzCon during that segment. So all right, well that wraps up games. Again, if you want For the King 2, it's on Steam. You can go pick it up for $24.99. I think it's on sale for $22.99 right now.
No, not on sale. It's just
not okay. Well, it was on sale for $22. So you snooze.
It might be on sale for you because you've bought For the King 1, but
maybe, I don't know. All right,
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not sure.
Let's talk about the news and talking about, you know, something coming back and, you know, something that was long lost and we never thought we were going to ever see it again, but God knows DBD brought it back. We're going back to Stranger Things and Hawkins, boys.
That is interesting. Are they bringing back like is it the exact same map or
exact
are they
same map?
Okay, so they're not going to be changing up anything. They're just they're allowed to put it back into the game. They're allowed to flip the switch and turn it back on after they turn it off.
Missing something? Did they take it out?
Yes, they took out all.
They lost licensing for it a while ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
so you couldn't buy Demogorgon. You couldn't buy Nancy.
We talked about it.
Steve.
I didn't retain that.
Yeah,
and they removed
it's fine. I hardly retain anything to do with DVD. This is these two fucking nerds.
Yeah.
I mean, they look. This is not like a fucking ode to them. I think they are doing a new Stranger Things map. Like, I do want to say they are doing a new Stranger Things map, but they are bringing back Hawkins. They are going to update Hawkins because they have to. Like the killers that they've had come out since Hawkins's lab has been out there, it just doesn't work. Like it's just it's ridiculous. It's actually, I think, one of the most unbalanced maps for survivors that's out there, because like the holes, like the loops that you can do where pallets are at. It's just messed up. So
Like survivors have the.
I have a huge advantage. Huge advantage.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So they're bringing this back, but look, this is not a fan service. This is not like all of a sudden like Behavior was like, oh my god, like we love you guys so much. We know that you missed it. No, they literally just bought the license back. They were like, oh, yeah, fine, we'll renew the license for it, and that's what happened.
Well, season what is it, 4 or 5 of Stranger Things at this
5.
point? It's coming out here
Season
pretty
5.
quick, isn't it?
5
Season
final, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's starting filming in a couple weeks.
Oh, I thought it was coming out soon. Okay,
No, they got caught
Um,
up in the strike.
I see.
Yep. So that was one part of DBD news. The other part of DBD news, which we've been talking about for a while, is Chucky.
Yeah.
They
I'm
they
out.
they teased
I
this.
hate Chucky.
I hate
Bye.
Chucky too.
Chucky's such a stupid
But
horror
it's
Yeah.
icon.
he is I mean, look, he's a horror icon that I think
He
a lot of people
is.
kind of looked
He's a
at and was
horror
like,
icon,
why
yeah.
why is he not in the game? Why is this not something that should have been here? I think a lot earlier. And why is
I'm
it taking
actually
so
really
long?
impressed with how they did it too.
They did a
you
very
would
good
think,
job with
like,
it. Yeah.
like a doll type killer, how would they make that function in this world? How would he be able to hook anybody? Like, there's a lot of like
So how
in
does he?
universe stipul. So the thing that they did with him is the doll itself is the killing aspect. It's what does the murder. And then whenever you go to pick somebody up or grab somebody out of a locker, his spirit, because Chucky is a serial killer's spirit locked in a doll's body, his spirit like grabs the person out and carries them off, and then holds Chucky in the other arm, like the
Yeah.
doll in the
And
other arm.
his voice lines when he's doing
What?
that is so good.
Interesting.
It's so good. Like the one thing that they nailed for this is voice line. Like is the lines. Like whenever have you seen it whenever he gets flashlight? Like whenever if he gets blinded.
Yeah,
So he
Yeah.
gets
Just curse you out.
Well, so yeah, so so you get blinded once and it's like whatever else. But if you blind him again, within quick succession, he's like, I swear to freaking God, I'm gonna beat you over the freaking face with that freaking flashlight or whatever else. And it's just like
So
I don't know
It
if
is
it's
funny though.
I don't know if it's the actual like a character, like voice actor that originally voices him or what, but it's very spot on. Yeah, I mean it's cool.
it's
Like,
a well done chapter.
Yeah, yeah.
And for once, his kit is actually simple. And that's nice because a lot of the killers that have come out recently have been super fucking complex. He just has a stealth and a dash, and that's it. And it's very refreshing.
Yeah, people are loving it. I mean, people are really, really, all about it. So,
I have a question then for you guys
Yeah.
because I'm a horror fan. I'm not so much a DVD fan, but what horror icons that are not in DVD would you want to see in DVD?
Oh, that's an on the spot question there, bud.
I know Candyman has been asked for a long time from a lot of people.
That's
like,
one that
Yeah.
I was gonna say. I mean, that
Yeah.
would just make sense. He's
Me
already got a hook.
personally, I want Springtrap from Five Nights.
I think
I
that's
think
gonna
that would be
happen,
cool.
bro. Like, I think it's gonna
That
happen.
probably will happen now, especially with everything going, like the hype going around with it.
Actually,
Yeah.
a lot of people thought this was that because of the movie
Yeah.
and everything. They thought that it was gonna be Springtrap.
I think what would be really cool is if they did something with the Thing.
The thing
I
would
think
be
that'd
cool too.
Really unique. Yeah, that could be a really
Well,
cool killer.
how would you,
They would have to have a way of it like mimicking
possessing
survivors,
or
though.
like, yeah,
yeah,
like possessing
that would
or
be
something
tricky.
like that.
That'd be really cool though.
Well, no, it'd
Maybe
be fucked
maybe
up.
if you hook somebody, you can steal their like identity for a minute or
Yeah.
whatnot.
See, we're
Didn't
we're
they,
already brainstorming.
Did they add the Xenomorph Queen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xenomorphs in there.
I thought
Yeah,
so.
Xenomorph,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, I thought I saw something recently about the
Predator would
fucking
be.
alien.
I think it'd be cool to do Predator. Now that they've done
Predator would
Xenomorph,
be
do the
cool.
opposite, do the Predator.
They're not
But
going to do Predator because they did Skull Merchant, and that is basically their Predator stand-in.
is it? I don't. What
Yeah,
is
I
Skull
guess.
Merchant? Is he
I
newer?
don't know what that is.
It's the chick that has the claw with the
The claw,
drones.
yeah.
Oh yeah, then she's new.
What
So I
about-
haven't seen her.
What about the Invisible Man?
You couldn't do
Invisible
you could-
Man.
That's
you
just
couldn't do
hackers.
that.
That would
couldn't
be
do that.
that would be the ultimate one
No,
because
no,
you
no,
wouldn't
no,
have to
no.
put any fucking money into the character, man. They wouldn't have to do anything.
They need the better Chucky. They need Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
People
better
thought-
Chucky.
people- Well, there is
think.
a event or something that's going to be happening. I don't know if it's like a a costume or whatever that you can get where you can actually be Tiffany, which is his Chucky's bride.
I
Um,
can't stand her
Tiffany.
even
Yeah.
more, man.
You know, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of killers out there that I think that would be really
Yeah.
cool to
I mean,
bring.
that's the thing.
Pumpkinhead, you know.
I honestly think-
of content for them.
I honestly think Dr.
Material.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde would be dope. I know it's not like really a horror thing, but I think that would be a really dope
I think they
character.
could pull it off. There's a lot of those old stories have really dark.
Do Dracula. Dracula would be kind of dope.
Yeah, dude.
Didn't they
Oh.
do Dracula with fucking Nick Cage or whatever? Wasn't he
Mhm.
like
That
that
Well,
character supposed to be his character that he played in
I think that was just
in what's it
supposed to be
called?
Renfield.
Renfield, but I think
Renfield,
that was just supposed to be Nick.
Yeah. No, I
I,
just,
I
no,
mean,
I just took it as a skin.
he's Dracula in Renfield, but
Yeah, but he's
Yeah,
not. Yeah,
yeah.
he's not
But
Dracula.
in this, he's just Nick.
oh, that's fucking stupid.
I think he should have been a killer.
Yeah, I
he-
thought he was. I thought he was Dracula.
No, he's just Nick.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
man.
man.
just Nick
That's
Cage.
stupid.
Just Nick.
That's so stupid, dude. This is I
His
both
voice
like
lines are hilarious, though.
so this is the kind of shit like I both like Dead by Daylight when it comes to like their mashups with people, but then again
Yeah.
I'm like they come out with shit like that I'm just like, what is the fucking use in that?
It's a skin, man.
They
It's
just
just,
did it for
don't
the
get
memes.
it, man.
Like
Yeah.
legitimately.
I
They
mean,
just
that-
did it
that-
for the
Uh,
memes.
I respect behavior for that. They don't give a fuck, really. Like, they'll do anything.
I mean, they do,
I
but
mean,
they
it
don't.
shows.
Like, they just, they, I
No,
think that
I'm
they,
not saying they don't give a fuck for like what their game, but they will literally do any crossover and they don't care what people think about it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's the horror Fortnite. Like, it's just, they're just like,
It is.
we'll, make the meta. Shit. Look, hey,
Yeah.
bring in Master Chief. Fuck, let Master Chief start going around.
Why not,
blasting
right?
I mean, Rainbow Six
Why
Siege
not?
did Master Chief. You
Yeah.
want to know one other cool thing that Dead by Daylight's done recently? They made a Trapper skin out of their old IP Naughty Bear.
yeah, the mayor.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Naughty Bear, but
Oh yeah.
Nope.
that's it's pretty funny. And I had no clue Behavior like made that IP. I was like, why the fuck
Oh,
would they
wait,
buy
no,
this?
never mind. I'm thinking of Naughty Dog. I don't know.
Why
what
the
Naughty
fuck
Bear
would
is.
they buy this IP just for a skin or buy the rights to this? No, that's a Behavior made game. It's a Xbox 360 era like PvP style game.
Oh wait, no, I
it
do
was
know
a
this
weird one,
game.
man.
I do
was a
know
weird
this game.
one.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It was almost like that Conquer game, but like a killer bear.
Yeah,
Right?
kinda. Yeah.
Now you got me wondering, chat. We're gonna ask you, and actually, chat. On YouTube, post your comments in below. If we do a short of this, which I'm sure we will. Post your comments. I want to know what killer you would want to see in Dead by Daylight. That's a great question to ask. And chat, I want to see you guys what you guys have to go over. We'll at the end of it when we talk about questions and get chat interaction, we'll go over it. But I want to say, you now have me interested in like this whole like horror icon tier list. Like, who could
Yeah, dude.
we
Like I
could we
said,
bring in?
It's literally.
I want to
endless.
see Jaws, bro.
Jaws. Oh
Just
my
see-
god.
Just see Jaws. I guess the Nun that's in there, right? Because you have like from the Nun franchise, or what is it called? What's
Yeah.
that
The
franchise?
Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
Yeah, Conjuring. What,
Yeah.
like we could see Slenderman. That would be kind of dope. To
The
see.
Grudge
Yeah.
chick.
The
I-
Grudge.
I
the
could.
Gru-
I would be so scared of the Grudge.
I
mean,
I
They
couldn't
already
play
have.
it. Yeah,
They already have
I
one
couldn't
that's
play it.
like the Grudge, though.
Yeah, they got the Ring chick.
Right.
Oh, they have legit. the Ring
Saduko.
They don't
Yeah,
have it
yeah.
in there, do they? It's not in there,
Nah,
right?
nah,
That'd be
they
kinda
don't have
dope.
it. They wouldn't be able to do it though. Universally, he would be on the same power level as the entity, so it wouldn't
they-
work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't they have don't they have a what was it? What's the fucking clown Pennywise? Don't they
That's
have
what I
a version
No,
of
they
Pennywise?
just have a
they
different
just have-
clown that
They
throws
just,
like
have a
they just
clown.
have a drunk clown.
poison
I
and-
really,
Oh,
I really,
okay.
I really want them to redo the clown and make it like killer clown from outer space.
So-
They'll never be able to get that license with their own game coming out.
You
No, I
wanna
know.
what license would be fucking amazing. You guys remember the fuck? It was a it was an alien movie back in the day, and they were like invading the fucking planet, and all of them were like they made that weird sound, was like
Are you
or
saying
whatever.
Mars
Attack of
Attacks?
Oh,
It might
Mars?
be, yeah, it might be Mars Attacks.
Dude, Gremlins. You bring that up. I would love to have
No.
like Gremlins. That'd be dope.
Critters, bro.
Yeah, Critters would be dope.
Oh, God.
Critters would be good. See, now we're in. Now we're in. Now we're
Now we're in
down
it.
a
We
rabbit
gotta,
hole.
We gotta move on, and we'll get back to
we
it.
got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pinhead was
Uh,
stupid. By the way, I hate Pinhead. I think it's a dumb
love
Why?
character.
I thought they did well with him.
Well,
I
know
just
how
don't
they
like the
did.
character. This is
The,
saying
the character's cool
You
too.
don't like Hellraiser?
You're stupid.
no. I don't like them. I don't like him in the game. I don't think he's a good character in the game.
okay.
I like the character itself. I just don't like the character in the
Oh,
game.
okay.
Yeah.
You just
I've
don't
watched
like
it-
having to
I've
play
wa-
the fucking box mini game.
I hate. I just don't like. I don't even like him as a killer. I think he's overpowered as a killer personally. Anyway, okay, we're gonna get off DVD news, but yeah, there you go, Chucky. Moving on. Let's talk about PlayStation. Let's talk about integrations and lack thereof. PlayStation is ending its Twitch or Twitter and X integration.
It's a weird thing,
November
man.
13th, this coming up week. So
Yeah, it's a
kinda
weird one.
random.
I don't know what prompted the shift away from support
And
from
this
it.
is just like the Twitter X app on PlayStation.
Yeah, so the thing that changed is you're not able to send screenshots or videos directly from your PlayStation to Twitter/X. You can still do stuff with it from the PlayStation app, but you got to download it. You got to send it through the cloud to the PlayStation app, and then you can send it from the PlayStation app wherever you want
And
it to
who's,
go.
who's really doing that too? Because that's so
It's a
convoluted.
yeah. They just made another step to
Yeah.
do stuff. I don't understand
It's very
why
random.
this
I
unless
also-
Sony is making like some behind the scenes deal with a different social media.
like
platform.
Like who?
I don't know, Instagram.
That'd
That's
be
the
so
only-
weird.
That's the only other one I can think of. Or Threads.
Can't even
I don't see him
imagine.
doing threads, man. I don't
No.
know.
I
About
don't
that
even
one,
think Threads is Threads even still a thing. Like, do people even still
It's
go to
still
Threads?
a thing.
It is.
Well, it's
I mean,
definitely
I
still
have
a
it on
thing.
my phone, but like,
But it
I don't
died
know.
Fast.
Yeah, it was like, wait, what? Like, why
It was
is
never
this
going
here?
to go anywhere to begin with, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You know it's doing bad whenever like I'm scrolling through Instagram and it has like a Threads bar like showing like tickers from like people posting on Threads to try to get you to go to the site. Like I
Yeah.
understand it's owned by Facebook and stuff, but still it's weird.
I just
I
want.
have no- I
I'm
have no clue what the
curious.
play is with this.
I'm-
This seems
I'm
odd.
curious if this was PlayStation or if this was X.
Well, so here's
Possibly,
the
like,
thing.
going to PlayStation and being like, hey, if you want to post directly from PlayStation, you need to pay us some money or something.
Well, here's the thing. Like a lot of these sites or a lot of these companies, integrations, stuff like this, they used free APIs that when
Yeah.
when they went from Twitter to X, it fucked up a lot of shit. Which
Well, it's not
Which-
it's not when they went from Twitter to X. It's when
Well-
it's when he started pushing down that route of fighting against bots. That's when they started. That's why, like, when we post stories in the podcast chat, there's no longer
Yeah, there's
embeds.
no embeds,
That's
yeah.
why is because Elon was fighting back against bots
you-
and
you-
not
you
having
could-
embeds fights against bots.
You could be onto something because Elon he's making
He's
and
a-
coming up with all these ways to mitigate these bots, and
Yeah.
one of them that is, I guess, allegedly coming out is that eventually everyone is going to have to pay a minimum flat rate fee of $1, I think, a
Well,
month or something.
no,
to
that's
use it.
that's
I
not
heard something
that's
about
not
that.
true. Yeah, that's not true. He
Was that
he
not?
mentioned something. He mentioned that could be a possibility, but that they would never go down that route
I-
simply because
I
they don't feel
know.
like it would be the best option.
I heard that.
it's-
but
it's-
then
it's
I
in
heard
the-
them
it's-
saying that it might actually happen.
No,
Something
it's
else
it's
came
in
out
the
after.
interview. It's in the interview that he had. There was an interview where they were talking about bots and how they were fighting against that. And he basically came up with he was like on the spot. He was like, well, really, the only way that we could possibly fight against bots, every bot would be to charge like a very low fee,
No,
you
I
know.
know that.
And then people took
but
that out of
there-
context.
No, I know that. That was a while ago, but something more recently came up saying that might actually be going into effect though.
it was just a
I-
rumor, though.
I-
It was
I
it was
don't
it was a
know.
We'll
rumor.
Find it on.
It was
on
a.
this
I know what you're
cast,
talking
but-
about. It was. I saw it. It was a rumor. So it kicked off. What brought it back up was he had an interview with Joe Rogan and
Yeah.
just recently again, and Joe Rogan and them were talking about this, and it referenced that interview, referencing a farther back interview where he talked about
Yeah.
that's the true way of
Yeah.
stopping bots. and then everybody was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna charge!" And he
Yeah.
was, and then it was like, "This is just a rumor. Nothing is like
It's
confirmed."
it's not
just
true.
a
whatever
rumor.
else.
Okay.
Every one of them that he's ever said about that, it's always been like a huge like hypothetical of what the only way that he can think of would be to get rid of bots completely, and that's like his only hypothetical way of doing it. But I don't really feel like, because that would be suicide for Twitter.
It-
Like
it would be.
forcing people to pay even if it's just like 99 cents for a month, that would be suicide for Twitter. And I don't think that he's that stupid.
Yeah, I
It
did
would be
hear that they were also
ridiculous.
getting rid of hashtags here soon.
I wouldn't doubt that.
And that might
Hashtags
be-
haven't been really they haven't really. I mean, they're used on a regular basis, but really it's
Do they
one
do
of those things where it's an
anything?
Yeah.
it's an arbitrary
always-
thing from the past.
Yeah.
Really,
It's like tags
lifelong
on
question,
YouTube, but
yeah.
they're there,
Yeah.
but I don't think they actually do much.
Do
I
they
mean, they-
actually
they-
affect
they
anything
do-
in the algorithm? I don't
they
know.
do, and it's for people that still use hashtags and still use those specific tabs and everything like that. Like you can find things easier, but like the algorithms that these sites have, like YouTube has, and like X or Twitter has, you don't have to use hashtags anymore. You can just type in the term that you're looking for, and it'll
Right.
bring you all the relative information that you want to see on that terminology. Right. So
Right. So
it's very archaic. It's a thing of the past, and I wouldn't doubt that they would get rid of it, because I don't think that it's used correctly anymore.
right.
Hey,
So
not-
do we
not-
think this is a PlayStation thing or a Twitter thing?
No, it's a Twitter
This-
thing. I think it's an API and thing, and I think it broke, and I think it they don't want to take the time to go back and fix it. I think they're just like, fuck it, it's
Well,
not
why,
really worth
why
it.
can't they? Do you think it's just an issue conflicting with the PlayStation software, and that's why you can use the app because it's
I
mobile
think-
to mobile?
Yeah, like I think that there's like I'm telling you this from my career, my job. Like there is a huge issue with like when immediately they made that switch from Twitter to X. Like it caught like they hadn't even
Yeah, it
integrated.
caused a
They
lot of
haven't even
APIs.
integrated like
Yeah.
the whole bot system. This was just like an API crash, and like shit went down for months and months and months. And then on top of that, like it was I think him combating, saying, hey, like you need to have paid APIs for this to work, and they're all this. So I think because it is mobile to mobile, like there is some stuff, but I also think that PlayStation's like, dude, they had to have looked at numbers and been like, nobody fucking cares about this. Like, is this really something? I think
I'm
I think
curious how many
PlayStation is,
times that is used on a PlayStation to begin with. Like me personally, granted, this is coming from a
Nintendo lover. You got it.
yeah. This is coming from a stance of like, I don't really use Twitter all that much, but like I just looked at this, whatever you just posted.
Yeah, so sorry, they are testing it in the Philippines. $1 a year to write posts or whatever, and that is
Huh.
confirmed by Elon Musk.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I knew I wasn't crazy.
I can't.
Well, they said you were
I
crazy.
can't remember what I was.
Crazy, what's
I
else
can't
crazy?
remember what I was
in
gonna
my
say
mind,
now.
I'm like, I know I saw something, but yeah, no, that's what I saw. It's they're testing it in the Philippines and
Was-
New Zealand or something, that they're
Oh,
charging $1 a year to write tweets, but reading them is free. And it is just
Yeah,
a way
this-
to try and stop bots.
this is coming
Um,
from somebody that doesn't really use Twitter to begin with for
Yeah.
much more than just like keeping up with you guys. But like, I can't imagine like going on your PlayStation being like, "Oh man, that was such a sick fucking 360 no scope. I'm gonna post that to X." Yeah.
Well, it is all. I mean,
I'm sure
this
there is a
this
seems
minority of-
weird, man.
A group of people that do that.
Well,
though. I mean,
this all came and around, and why it became popular and why it became a thing was back when you look at like the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4 days of being like, oh, you can stream right from your console. Oh, you can, so it was just like ways of making your console your all-in-one device in a way, and now
I mean,
it's
Stream directly from your consoles, but this
right. But I'm just saying that's where this was burst, and then it was like, now it has become it's futile. Like I do not see a huge audience, and so I think Sony is like, we have more important shit to worry about than making this function. And
Yeah.
Twitter's like, okay, like we don't care. So
Yeah, they just didn't want to keep up with the updating.
and
Yes.
talking about fires and things like that PlayStation is kind of concerned about. We've talked about live service. Sony has been very adamant about their live service kind of strategy and where it's going or not going. And Sony's pushing back on its live service game ambitions, basically saying that it now expects to release 6 new live service titles by March of 2026, half of what it was previously planned.
Yeah.
Both sides of the fields are saying see, they're still caring about live service, and the other side is saying they just cut half of their live service games.
Yeah, this is definitely a good thing. This
yeah,
is a
for sure.
benefit to Sony, and I think this is a more damning thing about just how much Jim Ryan was pushing this kind of stuff and how much of a backer he was on this. I genuinely believe him being out is the best thing that could have happened to Sony Studios.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this,
I mean, we've said that
further
from the start.
yeah, but
right?
this just further cements that theory.
For sure. Yeah, we've said it from the start, from a long time ago. Like even when we first started this podcast, we've been against Jim Ryan's bullshit, man.
Oh, Jimmy Ryan.
He really needed to go years ago. It's ridiculous what the direction that he pushed Sony, and I think that has hurt them this year. Honestly, like his direction and his leadership has definitely kind of fucked Sony over for this, in my opinion, this entire generation.
Yeah, I mean, especially everything that he was saying in public too. Like, he had a loud mouth, bro.
I just, I will say, I mean,
and live service games, to be fair, they're not inherently bad.
No, they're not.
There are some decent live service games out there, and hopefully them reducing that workload down to 6 titles by the end of 2026, that's a long time frame that they can spread them out and hopefully give them proper support instead of just shotgunning live service titles out there and hoping one of them takes off, because that was the original plan. Was you throw 1 million live service games out there, one of them's bound to take off, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was going to say, is that it's a, the pendulum of game development is so funny because you can watch it happen. Like, if you look back at when, EverQuest and WoW came out and it became popular. So what did everybody do? We got to do MMOs. Everybody was fucking MMOs. Right. And now when was the last time we saw a new MMO? That's actually been good, right? Not like free to, whatever. It's been a long time. Then you had MOBAs, right? That had their scene when the International and League was taking off, and then it was fucking shooters, then it was BRs, and it's like survival games, and it's free to play and whatever else. And I think
it's
live
like Cloud
service
Chasers, but for developers, they go wherever the audience is.
Vampire Survivors, holy shit, how many of those have we seen clones of now? So live service, I will say, I am a huge fan of live service games that are done well. I love live service games because I think that they add a lot of value and longevity to games.
Because he's a whale.
Sure, I'm a whale, but legitimately, I do I prefer that live interaction, playing with my friends, having a good time, and playing in a world where it feels connected with other people.
You can have that without having
I'm
to be a
not
live
saying that
service
every game has to be live service. I'm agreeing with Bill. You shouldn't shove live service where it's not needed. But what I would say is the Last of Us factions or SOCOM, right? I hope we're not two casualties of this. I don't really care about the Last of Us factions part. I never cared that much about it, but people do, and people want it. But SOCOM, I would love to see another SOCOM game come out that's actually done well. That's within the PlayStation franchise. It was a game that I grew up playing as a kid, and I don't want a single player only SOCOM. SOCOM was not about single player; it was about multiplayer. So but I think this is a great step. I agree with you, Bill. Taking it and saying, hey, 6 studios, you guys are really going to focus in on this to make sure it's good, and done properly, I think is great. I don't agree with adding a massive multiplayer game to Horizon. To me, that's why? But maybe this is one of them that they're going to do and do really, really well with, so, yeah. Anyway,
Definitely.
So Sony is tossing that one. Let's talk about another company that may be tossing something soon, and it's Enigma's favorite. So,
oh boy,
Epic. I'm clear that is the clickbait for your short if you want it. Is that Epic is getting rid of the Epic Game Store. Watch those clicks go up. But no, the reason I'm saying that is because Monday. It's the first Epic versus Google legal showdown over app fees.
correct me if I'm wrong. This is basically the same fight that they had against Apple.
That's
Yeah,
but
now they're doing it
now,
with
now
Google.
they're doing
Yeah,
the now
now
they're
it's
doing the
against Google.
Android.
Now they're
Google,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Because
well,
because
now
Apple
they're doing over the App Store fees. That was the original
were
one
two
was just over
separate.
the original one was over them them being
Bypassing.
basically them bypassing and being kicked off of the Apple Store.
Yeah.
That was the original one.
Well,
Now
that
this is
stemmed
this is
from Fortnite,
Google.
if I'm
Right,
not
This is
mistaken.
this is Google going after
And this-
Epic for the same shit
for the
essentially.
same shit. Yeah.
Right. So
Okay.
the legal transaction, Apple and Google did not file together. Apple filed
Yeah.
and then
Yes,
Google
correct.
filed. So they are
And
Yep.
Epic lost big on Apple, and now
yes, and
what do you
yes. So
think's gonna
now
happen with
right.
Google?
but Epic is basically what like the tactic that Tim Sweeney is taking now is like, hey man, Epic's not been profitable since like forever, so we gotta like the game store, so we gotta do
I mean, it worked
something.
for Xbox.
So back off, please.
I
It's like-
mean, I guess, but not. I don't think in this sense when you're trying to like
In this
backdoor
sense,
fees.
it's not gonna work, but
So it but yeah, but essentially the Epic Game Store launched back in late 2018 as a direct competitor to Steam. And they were basically offering free games a month, which they still do, and a huge profit split for publishers and devs. The issue is that it's not turned a profit since its existence. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so.
you do
hate
not.
to
You
say it.
don't hate
Yeah.
to say that,
I don't-
especially
I
to,
don't hate to say that about Epic at all.
Especially
That's
to
a
Tim
complete fucking
Sweeney.
flat out lie.
you lying sack of shit. What are you
100%. No,
talking about?
I've said from day one of Epic Game Store's like inception that this would never fucking work. It was such a bad idea. Like just going against Steam in general. Like, and granted, we can have the conversation of like Steam being a monopoly for the
PC game
digital
market,
sales
yeah.
of PC game markets, right? Like, yeah, 100%. Steam does need competition, right? And I will agree with that completely. In order to get some of those specific situations from Steam, where it's like their 30 whatever split
I mean,
from
there
Steam and
really is
everything like
not
that.
much competition. There's
very little,
Games and,
yeah.
and GOG really.
Yeah, there's very little, and GOG really isn't competition.
I
at
don't.
all.
I don't know. I don't know if I
competition.
call
Yeah.
GOG
But
competition.
like still, that's what I mean. There's minimal
But
competition.
going against something like as monumental as Steam,
Powerhouse.
you
literally.
were always going to have issues, and literally their only way to go against Steam was have free games. And then when
Yeah.
that really didn't work, they were like, okay, well then we're just going to pay people to we're going to pay developers to be exclusive on a launcher, and that just pissed people off even more. So it's
It
Yeah.
really is surprising.
it
that
was
they didn't
never
drop
going to fucking work, dude.
Well,
their,
it's
their free game model because
here-
they started that to pull people in, be like, hey, look at
Yeah.
Epic Games. This is our new, launcher and storefront, and we have free games a month, and they kept doing it, and that's obviously not profitable, man.
Yeah, well, I think like here's the thing. Like when you look at the reason that Valve created Steam originally, it was actually not its origin story was not created as a storefront.
Well, they were a
like,
game developer.
it was
Yeah.
it was a place for them to launch their games.
Launch their own
It was a- it
games.
was a-
yeah.
it
And
was just a
then-
launcher.
Right, and then
That's all it
people were like,
was.
"Hey, like, do you mind if we add our game to that?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." It was never designed to be profit. Like the Steam as we know it today was not the ideology of what Valve actually wanted, and that's the problem. Epic went in this being like, "Oh, let's make I want to make money off this,"
Well,
and
Well, they went into it for the same reason that they fucked over Apple and Google, right? They wanted profit. They wanted
Yeah.
a slice of
well,
that
you know,
pie.
Tim didn't
right?
like having to go and launch it off of
Yeah,
his own
he
fucking
didn't
off of
like
Steam.
having to pay. Well, he didn't. It wasn't that he. I mean, I'm sure it was a lot of that, but it was that he didn't want to pay Gabe and
service
fee.
Steam
I'm-
the 30% service fee, basically.
I am telling you 100% right now that from like the mouths of people that work at Epic, that it literally is. If Tim Sweeney gets butthurt about something, he will
I don't doubt it.
full
Yeah.
tilt and go and
Oh,
try
yeah.
to go against
I
it. Like
I don't doubt it. Yeah, no,
Like,
we've seen it. We've seen it multiple times. So like when he got tilted about I fucking what's the Ubuntu and like and Linux, right? He went full tilt and just banned Linux essentially, right?
There
So it's one
was
of those things, and even in the Epic versus Apple, like whenever they got caught, it wasn't a factor of, oh fuck, we got caught. Sorry guys, it was fuck you. Why did you catch us? We're not doing anything wrong. You're the
Yeah.
the person stealing money out of my pocket. How is that
Yeah.
fucking right? You know,
like
And it's like, no, dude.
it's wild because it literally is a spot where like people have said like he'll come in and just be like like the ongoing joke is like, oh, you I got charged at a gas station to pump my own gas. Fucking Epic's doing gas stations now. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like,
That's great.
yeah, so it's
But yeah,
it's wild.
I've said from the start that this
But-
whole Epic Game Store would never fucking work. And
Oh, yeah.
You know what-
I
what's
will
crazy is that
continue to laugh at
you
it.
would think that like Tim and the whole overarching company would be like, you know what, we're gonna again adopt the Steam model of being like, hey, it's not for profit, we're gonna have it out there, we're gonna make this the better store, not by like, you know, pay, like whatever, but like
Well,
not trying,
That's-
but
yeah.
because going into our next topic, like you have the Fortnite just
Well, before we go into the next topic, that just to piggyback off of that, like that's the biggest thing. Like in order to make the Epic Game Store work, he really didn't have to do that much. He just had to have a better experience than Steam, right? And granted, Steam, I'm not saying that Steam is the be all end all. Steam has its own issues, right? But at least it had a competent fucking system for people to interact with each other. It had a comparable system for people to show off their achievements. That was what a lot of people like. People like
Yeah.
achievements. They like to collect things. You know, gamers, us as gamers, we like to collect shit. I mean, you should see my fucking gaming collection. I haven't played half of that, right? But I'm still like, hey, look at that. I got so many games, right? I love collecting shit. So all they had to do was emulate Steam to a point where it was like our launcher has the same things that Steam has, but better. And they struggle to do with that, and they still cannot do that to this day.
no.
Like
Well,
it's still their launcher is still trash. to
what I
this
was
day.
going to say is that it's like they could be focusing on their huge success, which is Fortnite. I mean, Fortnite just dropped the OG
True. Yeah.
map, right? And
I gotta
it
go
brought
play that.
5 million players, right?
It's so
5
dumb, dude.
million
It's
people.
crazy, dude.
It's so
went
dumb.
back.
It's the same shit that WoW did. They fucking ruined their game. They're like, you know what? Resetting spaghetti. Let's go back to the OG days, boys. Let's market
mean,
that
it-
nostalgia.
It works though.
Yeah,
It-
man. It
It's
sells.
dumb.
It,
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb. You would think they would make the game better over time, not worse, and then have to fall back.
Well,
Oh,
the,
I
the
mean,
worst part
every-
is that
Gone
the
to
worst
shit.
part the worst part is that that's on us as gamers too. Like whenever
Oh,
that
it
comes
100%
out,
is.
whenever this shit happens and Fortnite's like, hey, we know we fucked up, but we're just gonna release the OG fucking map, and everybody's like, yes, praise you, Queen, yes, thank you, Tim Sweeney. Bro, that's terrible.
That's every year with Call of Duty.
It is no 100%. Yeah,
I mean, what-
I mean,
Literally,
that's the whole
man.
marketing campaign behind Modern Warfare 3, honestly,
Yeah.
is all the
Yeah.
OG
Yeah,
Modern Warfare 2 maps.
you're seeing
So.
it everywhere, man.
what I will
And
say is that I
guarantee
don't.
in another 10 years we'll see it again.
Oh, yeah.
I
Nope,
will
it'll
defend.
never change.
I'm going to defend Epic here for a second with Fortnite.
Wow.
All right. I don't
Wow.
like unlike I think when like lumping them in with I think Call of Duty, lumping them in with WoW, I don't think is as accurate as to say like they ruined the game. A lot of people that actually continued to play Fortnite said, you know, outside of like the build, like the turbo builders, right? If we take out that small subsect, like people that were like playing the game as a shooter or whatever, actually said like this game has actually progressively gotten better and better and better and better and better. This was them seeing the success of, in my opinion, the success of Classic and going, oh, hey, we're going to drop OG. We're going to bring back building and not make it turbo. And now it's going to be slower paced.
Well, you
Um,
know, I don't know
Good.
compared to like WoW and whatnot, but there was a lot of a majority of people that were asking for the OG to come out. I was part of that. I have always wanted them to bring just the OG map back, 'cause that was the thing I loved the most, was honestly the 2017-18 Fortnite, and then they just cruded it up with just too much shit, and that was not.
Well, and that's,
for
but that's,
me.
so that's the thing is that this is still that, like, it's not going back to season 1. Like it's going back to
Right.
chapter 4, season 1, if that's what you want to call it or whatever it's called. And it has like all these weird extra weapons and all this other kind of stuff, but like the map is the same, the building is back. But then each week or each month, there's some shit like that they're bringing back like the next season. So like the ballers are going to come back, the fucking mechs are going to come back, all the shit that people hated is going to
That's
come
such a
back slowly.
weird-
So
yeah.
that's where I'm like, this is just odd, you know. And Bill,
Yeah.
you hit it because we're actually about to talk about our next topic, which is talking about BlizzCon and some of the announcements that happened there. But it is very weird to see these companies, yes, go backward to like to gain popularity
It's lazy.
and success. No,
It's
I
lazy.
don't disagree.
And we as consumers are to blame because it works.
But I
Yeah.
will
They
say,
play on our
because
nostalgia.
we-
It's the
we
same.
eat it
You
up.
can make the same argument with the remake saga, where remakes are just banking on nostalgia of people
Yeah.
enjoying the original games.
I
Like,
will
100%.
I will say though that the thing where I will at least give some credit where credit is due is that like Fortnite's free to play. Is it lazy development in the sense of you're not developing anything new? Absolutely, that is lazy, right? At least it's free to play. That doesn't cost any money. WoW Classic is built into WoW subscription, so it doesn't cost you anything extra if you do want to play WoW. Like I prefer Classic. I don't like retail that much as much or whatever else. I want to play Classic WoW, so I had that ability to at least go back and play that. So you know, I that's my kind of cup of tea. So I would say at least it's a fan service to go and say, hey, you can still play, like I would say WoW over any of them. You are still able to play this version of this game if you prefer this version versus playing the new version if you do not like said new version.
Right.
Yeah, but you're still paying for it
Right,
in
but
the long run. Like
but-
if you're not wanting to, like, that was my biggest problem with WoW Classic, was like the fact that they lumped it into the subscription. And granted, yeah, 100%.
I mean, they could have charged you. They
you're-
could have charged
well,
you for
that's
just
what-
WoW
that's what I was
Classic.
about to say. Let me finish. I like you could have said like, oh, it's free because you know you're still only paying for one subscription. You're still only paying for the main subscription. But if like you're like myself or like you, Sin, like I don't want to play fucking retail. I have no interest in playing retail. So technically, I'm still paying $15 a month for what 17-year-old game, 16-year-old game, somewhere on there.
I mean, yeah,
So-
but so
This is very weird.
yes, and you know, but I
Wait, so
also
you're saying
know,
there's not 2 separate subs?
no, it's
No.
one sub. You pay
It's
one sub and you get both.
you play both. Yeah.
I even
So-
subbed to it. I forgot. I thought it was 2 separate subs.
So and
No,
actually right
I
now
feel
you
like it
have
should
three
be.
different three different versions of the game. What did you just say? Did you say it should be?
It should be two separate subs. One
You're crazy.
A cheaper sub for classic and
Absolutely
It should,
fucking
it should be,
not.
It should be free. It should be free.
Or free. I don't know.
And there's
Why-
no
why
way.
not?
No, why would you? No. What? So because then I think absolutely that's wrong to say like I would. There's no way in hell I would be like, oh, let me pay $5 a month to play a class. I
Or
would
like
be
a
more pissed off
package
about
deal If
that.
you want to play both, I don't know, but
I would be way
if
more
somebody
pissed
wants
off
to-
about that.
Like Enigma was saying, if somebody wants to just go play classic, which is a 17-year-old game, and not want to pay full price for like retail and everything, they should separate it and have like a package deal, you know,
I
or just one or
disagree.
the other.
I think it
I
should
don't
be a combined because I don't know. People, I don't see that being as successful. Well, again, to each his own, but
Maybe not. I don't know.
but I mean, right now
I
with
see
WoW,
why
you
they
have
do it, though.
you have 3
Yeah.
versions. You can play classic WoW, you can play classic hardcore, or you can play the retail WoW. But this all kind of goes into BlizzCon. BlizzCon just happened, and there was a bunch of news that Blizzard kind of announced. Some stuff we were expecting, some stuff we weren't. We're going to start off with Diablo 4. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this because am I over the age of 17? Yes, we are over the age of 17. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this. So Diablo 4 is having their first is there a way to loop it? Their first expansion called Vessel of Hatred that is going to be launching at some point in time in 2024.
Okay. Fix the game first, then we'll talk about paying more.
So we don't know when the expansion is dropping. I'm assuming it'll probably drop at the holiday season, like end of the year, or within like I would say end of summer, if at the earliest. I can't see them really doing anything sooner than that.
I can. Because I guarantee you this content's already done.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
What
So-
he said. Yeah.
I mean, sure. I don't know.
I like how there was a long pause right there. Like you had any argument for that? Like you know it's done already, dude.
I mean,
Like,
I'm just
it's
trying. I'm
content
trying
they
to
pulled
think
out.
that. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I was actually reading chat with what Cecilia said, and I actually,
Okay.
or Celia said, I actually agree with that statement more. Is that I think it's too early, right? Like to me,
That's
dropping
what I
in.
was
100%
saying.
it
Yeah,
is.
Fix,
Yeah,
fix
100%
the fucking
it
game
is.
before you charge me
Yeah.
more money. You haven't given me the game's base value yet.
Well,
I mean,
especially
I've gotten
considering,
the base
especially
value out of
considering
it,
the
but-
fact, especially considering the fact that we've literally only had 2 seasons. The first season was laughable at best. Like people were just like, "Yeah, this is weird." It was literally no content you could have made. This is just an update, right? And we've seen that with this latest season. They took the was it the rings from
the
the
Malignant season, they brought it back.
The-
Yeah.
the Malignant
they
rings,
brought it
yeah.
back. Yeah, so obviously
in a
it
way,
wasn't
they brought it
enough for
away.
a season, right? Like to me personally, I
Well,
don't feel like it
I
was
mean,
enough for a season.
I don't disagree.
in and of itself.
I don't disagree that I think that it wasn't enough of a season. I think they could have combined season 1 and season 2 and made this like a
100%,
the same thing. I do think that them bringing back Malignant Rings, and keep in mind they're not bringing back
That's
all
a
of the Malignant.
huge good decision.
Right, they're not bringing back all of Malignant Rings. It's just key certain things that like we as a thing.
I don't care
Like
about the rest of
Necromancer
them.
auto summon.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about the rest of the Malignant if they don't bring back the Necromancer stuff.
are.
Though,
No, they
that
did.
is
That's
terrible.
100%
that's there. But what I would say is like the big issue that I was having was like you should do what Pat like. Even though I gripe about what Path of Exile does sometimes with like them having so much shit, I think them going and saying, "Hey, we're going to pick small little items out and we're going to keep this in as a core piece of the game" is something that should happen, because I don't want to have like it feels weird to have like my vampiric powers all of a sudden fucking gutted from me just because we're in a new season
sure.
and now that's gone. Like lore wise, it's weird. So
Well,
it just
especially sorry,
fit.
I don't mean to interrupt you, especially since just talking about the Malignant Hearts, right? The Malignant Hearts changed the game for certain classes like the Necro to a point that it not having that Malignant Heart makes the class feel worse, you know.
Right.
So it's one of those things where it's like, to remove that, then that was one of the biggest reasons why I didn't play the start of the new season, was because I was like, there's literally no reason for me to play the new season, because the class that I want to play is in an
Going to
arguably
feel worse.
worse state. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, what I'll say about this is that we are getting a new zone, right? We're getting a whole new area, and I'm not going back and forth saying whether this is right or wrong. I think we all agree that this is like too soon. Even if it's coming a year, later, I think you could have done more content, more updates. This probably, depending on what the content is, how big of an update is it, an expansion, how much is this going to cost? We don't know all of those things, but we are getting to a new region called Nahunta, where we're supposed to deal with the fate of Mephisto and his plans for Sanctuary. We are supposed to get a never before seen class that has never been in Diablo, period.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. This entire like the little like over like camera panning over that little area reminded me very heavily of like the Witch Doctor. So I was curious if it was going to be like
it's supposed to be a never before seen class. Like we have not had it. People
So
were
they're
originally
not going to port the Vampire Hunter.
I mean,
not yet. Not.
I think they will.
Well, I think a lot of it. I think their whole thing with the Vampire Hunter with this was that a lot of like the vampiric powers that you got, if you actually compare them, like I watched a comparative analysis, they're very, very similar, right? So it's still lazy development in the sense that they took that and they were like, oh well, let's just take the powers and just throw it into Diablo.
I said that when they announced it, that was like the power. Every power that they showcased was just a direct copy from the Diablo Immortal. Yeah.
What I will say though is that the new, I think I'm the only one out of the group that has played the new season. And I'm level 60. It really is a good season. The characters feel fucking great. Like you feel powerful. You feel
I've heard leveling's a lot quicker and like
that's
more
what I was about to say.
as well too.
Yeah. I
mean, I've heard that like the grind and the leveling, the time that it takes
like
to get from 0
there's a lot to
do 100 is a lot less.
Like you're hunting you have the vampire hunting
instead of grinding for level, which is
True.
the way this game should be.
Which is what Diablo should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
as far as right now goes, they're almost to where it should have been at launch, in my
At
opinion.
launch.
I don't
Yeah.
disagree. I don't disagree. I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I can overlook some of the issues that are there. Am I going to say that this game is perfect and phenomenal? No, absolutely not. Am I going to say it's a fun time?
Game of the year?
Absolutely. No, it's not game of the year. Like this doesn't deserve. Even though Lilith, I'm not. Close your ears, honey. It's okay. Even though I have, and I already will. I mean, I spent $500 on the season before it dropped, or when it dropped. So but
God.
I do love the game. I think it's a fun time.
I think it's
Yeah.
an okay game. I
mean,
think
it's fine. I think it's
starting,
yeah.
it's
I'm not,
starting to get to that point where it could be a good game. I don't think it's personally, in my opinion, a great game, but it's an okay game. It's definitely
sure.
it's
Yeah.
definitely an okay Diablo for me. But I'm excited to see more from it because I personally feel like this is just content that they held back. So I'm curious when
I
it'll
mean,
actually release.
Here's what I
When-
want.
Did they say when this is going to release?
No, late
They have
2020,
any sort of
late
timeframe?
late
Just
2024.
2024.
I'm
Yeah.
expecting holiday 2024, like a year
You,
from now.
Yeah.
Do you think that's enough time to really get the game into a
Oh,
place
absolutely.
that
They
it's
going
to
to
be good and fun?
me and Enigma have talked
They
about
have
this.
to.
I think I
They
think
have
two
to,
more.
yeah.
I think 2 more seasons. I think they get season 3,
Yeah.
season 4. By that time, I think the
Season
game will be where
4
it needs to be.
I was talking to Crow Templar yesterday, I think, and we were just talking because he was playing a little bit through it, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably come back in season 4 because I personally feel like season 4, season 5 is when they're gonna iron everything out, and the game's gonna be what it should have been when it released, right? But I the one thing I will say is like I have heard that it is progressively like every season it has gotten better. I will say that the last season, while not a lot of content, it did do some good things for some of the classes. Again, i.e., the fucking necromancer with the malignant heart stuff. So we'll see what they do. I'm curious to see how much development they actually put into this next
I mean, I want.
expansion.
What I'm happy about this is that I want them to treat Diablo of like how they. This is gonna be a hot statement. How they treat World of Warcraft, but I mean not how like they've dumped on it, but like how
Wanted
they
to burn
how they
trees?
no how they have kept love and passion for World of Warcraft and trying to kind of keep it going. I want them to keep that for Diablo. I mean, I love Diablo.
and passion.
So-
Sure, we'll go with that.
I mean, bro, Blizzard's about to go on their They just announced 3 expansions. They're about to go on their 13th fucking expansion. If you're gonna sit here and tell me that they don't love WoW, you're crazy. Like,
They love the money WoW generates.
I was
I
about to
mean,
say they love the money. I will 100% state that. Yeah, 100% they
think
love
It's
the
that-
to the
money.
point that they've got their player base Stockholm
They've-
syndrome because the
they've-
people have committed how many years of their life to this game and they're not going to give it up
They've
now.
but I
they've
think that
butchered
there's.
the fuck out of the lore. Like
I'm
And
not
they're
saying-
bringing in new players is the problem. They're not bringing in new players.
I'm not saying that they haven't butchered the lore. I'm just saying that the people that are there, you bring back people like Chris Metzen, you have people that are developing. Like, I do think there is a love for WoW and World of Warcraft. I mean, regardless of all the shit that we talk, World of Warcraft has been around for for a shit ton of time. It has more. There's only been 2 MMOs that out there that have held this, and it's WoW and Final Fantasy. That's it. Like, give as much as WoW like has completely driven their mechanics and shit into
RuneScape,
the
by the
ground.
way.
I don't even know if I would not
Ultima
consider
Online.
runes. No. There's no
Ultima
fucking
Never
world you're gonna
looked
sit there and tell me
RuneScape,
that
definitely.
RuneScape and ORSR
RuneScape 100% I will.
does
Yeah,
not have.
100% I will.
How many? There's. Let me
They
finish.
RuneScape just released a new the Necromancer class.
That's great.
Like
There
5
is
months ago.
not nearly as many players that consistently play OS or old school RuneScape as there are for Final Fantasy 14 or WoW. There's not. I don't.
I never said
That's
there
what
was.
I'm
We
saying.
were just
That's all I'm
that-
saying. Those 2 are the most dominant, most like. I mean, the biggest 2 names in the MMO space. Like, it is. Like, I just. If you go to most MMO player or an MMO
RuneScape has
fan,
500,000 daily players.
congratulations.
that's
WoW
nowhere
does
near
that. WoW
WoW.
does.
Yeah.
It's ranked
Yeah.
number 14 on the MMO tracker.
Yeah, Classic does that with a fucking shitty update. I mean, I'm just all I'm trying to say is that there is a love and there is a passion for what they're trying to do, and that they yes, I don't disagree. They're not getting new players. I think Metzen, I think them, and some of the updates that like Xbox
Well,
is trying to
that's-
say
That's,
is
dude,
I
that's why
will-
they should have went to Game Pass, bro.
I will agree. I will agree that I think that now that they're out of the heel of Activision, yes, the developers themselves probably have a love for the game, but the company underneath Activision had zero
Absolutely.
fucking love for
which
the
I
game.
think which I think jumps ahead a little bit of what we were going to show here. But like this statement right here that that Phil basically said, and it broke. Jason Schreier broke the story. Is that Phil said, we want you guys to operate as an independent company. Like,
Yeah.
do your shit.
Yeah.
That is huge for Blizzard. And if you are a Blizzard fan, that is fucking huge because they have not had that. This company has been in the dark, in the closet, and the people running it. And I'm not giving, Mike Ybarra or any of these fucking CEOs or whatever else that had people like passes, but I do believe that Bobby was a black cloud that like lingered over this company and brought it down into the
Just
depths of hell.
Activision in general, yeah. Like
so-
you could definitely see the quality when they went underneath Activision. You could see that the quality was there. It's just the love for the game kind of, or the love for developing the game seemed to have diminished just because it went into more of like a corporate thing rather than like an individual entity that was developing the game for the game rather than for
Yeah.
Activision's pocketbooks essentially. So
Yeah. And I mean, I like bringing Chris Metzen back. It's huge. Fucking huge.
huge.
Having
It
him
is
on
huge.
stage,
I am-
fucking huge.
I'm extremely excited to see what Chris Metzen does, and I'm extremely excited to see the direction that Blizzard takes and that World of Warcraft takes now that they're not under that foot,
What
and now
was,
that
Metzen's
we've
role?
seen.
He
Metzen
is-
was the original founder. Was one of the original founders
Oh, okay.
like
the game.
So
or
he
of the
Of WoW,
The company, yeah, of the
Oh,
company.
like
That
like
was
he
the
he
company.
he
Gotcha,
direct
yeah.
like he was the director. He was basically lead director for World of Warcraft, and now
Okay.
he is back in that role of basically being like president of fucking WoW. Like he is
That's
he is WoW now. So this is his chance. And if there's one person that you want to trust, if you're a World of Warcraft person, it's fucking Metzen. Like this is his big opportunity to really go in and make something happen. And I think, this announcement.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. He was not one of the original founders, but he was one of the original like heads of the company, basically, or one of the original big names of the company.
One of the very first things that he announced, and this is what I want to talk about with you guys, as everybody in here has played Final Fantasy 14. Everybody in here, minus myself, loves the story of Final Fantasy 14. Well, okay, I don't. It's not a bad story. I just don't care about it. But
how
to
I felt too,
me,
though. Don't worry.
to me, this him coming out and saying, "Hey, we are starting what's known as the World Soul Saga." Everybody for the last fucking 5 years has said, "Where's WoW 2? Where's WoW 2? Where's WoW 2?" I really think that this is them ending it, blowing up World of Warcraft and basically having Azeroth Reborn or whatever they're going to call it, and it being WoW 2. Right? They're going to go a Final Fantasy 14 route and say Bahamut fucking destroyed everything now, because the very last the 3 expansions that we know are coming is the War Within, which, by the way, this cinema, I don't care who you are, if you can't watch this cinema and go, this is a fucking masterpiece.
It's the one
This is a
thing
movie.
Blizzard's good at.
I
This
mean,
is-
that's what
They
I
do-
that's
they
what I
do
said
kill
when
it.
it released. Is like Blizzard's always been known for killing the fucking cinematics, but like
I've never looked at Anduin and been like,
like-
dude, that dude's a motherfucking badass right there, bro.
the cinematics are one thing, but like you get a bad, like that was BFA. Like BFA's cinematic when you had that shot of what's his name coming up over the ramparts and looking out over that war, that just complete desolation of a field, and like that entire cinematic made me so fucking hyped for BFA. And then the game came out and it was just complete fucking trash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Oh, hey, I don't think
Like,
anybody
like-
disagree.
My question
like,
is,
they're
why does a
very well
Warcraft
known for
movie
that.
Fail.
yeah,
because
I mean,
it wasn't- it wasn't
made by Blizzard.
Yeah, it wasn't
really?
made by Blizzard. No,
Yeah.
no, it was another. They were
Oh.
it was just like the Marvel
They
licenses back in
just-
the day.
oh,
Like they
okay,
just
they
licensed
just
it out. But
Use the
anyway, so
license.
we have the War Within, which is the next expansion. We then have what is the next shit? It's the World Within.
Yeah, I can't remember. Either.
Midnight is the second one, and then the Last Titan, which obviously that one right there, the Last Titan, to me sounds like this is them blowing it up. Like the Titan is coming back. He's gonna fucking end it all and restart. Thoughts? Like, do you think that can
maybe.
work with this?
I don't know. I don't know,
Like-
man. I've been of a mind that like we need World of Warcraft 2, or we need to have like some kind of an update for World of Warcraft that brings it into the modern age for a really long time now. I personally am not so sure that, as much as I like Metzen, as much as I love Metzen, I'm not so sure he is a Yoshi P for Blizzard. I don't know if he can do what Yoshi P did for Final Fantasy 14. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope
don't
I'm
know.
wrong. I really do.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm happy about this. I think this is all steps in the right direction. We're getting 3 new expansions. Very, very quickly, kind of like it's not going to take as long as what it was used to taking. You know, they're telling.
Well, and see that right there worries me as well, because it's like we're used to having like years, like a couple of years between expansions. You know, if we're having just a rapid fire expansion release, what's the quality of those expansions going to be?
Well,
right?
I think what they're
It's-
saying is you're still going to get the time frame between them, but you understanding what's happening and the movement from that expansion to this expansion is faster. So normally it's a longer time frame from when the expansion gets announced to the last raid, and then you have to wait, and you're just sitting there with like the last raid before the next
Yeah.
expansion. There's what he's saying in here, and what's understood is that basically the War Within will drop. You will start content within the War Within. You'll have a 2-year cycle, but within that 2-year, but like you will have faster raids coming out, like a better progression into the next expansion. So like the last raid will
Mhm.
drop, and then you have like 6 weeks, and the next expansion drops.
Huh.
Is what they're is
Yeah, I
kind
don't
of
know
what
how to feel about that.
what's the next thing. The other thing that they talked about was this, which I don't know. As a classic player, they're now going to Cataclysm. Like which I loved Cataclysm, but
Cataclysm was great.
I don't know.
Talk about like a Final Fantasy-esque. This is where it should have happened, honestly. Like this story right here is where World of Warcraft should have been decimated and World of Warcraft 2 should have started. Right? Like,
Well, also the joke is like that sword. What sword? Like the when fucking what's his name? Sargeras jammed the damn sword in the fucking earth of Azeroth. Everyone's like, okay, so that ended it. Oh no, we're just not gonna talk about the sword sticking
Yeah.
out of the fucking world.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But now they're obviously going back to it. But yeah, Cataclysm. I agree, man. Deathwing, dude, I loved it, dude. When it completely like I
Deathwing
remember
was amazing.
going into not Straight Up Thorn, but
Deathwing was World of Warcraft's Bahamut, essentially. Like that was this entire story, Cataclysm, is what a Realm Reborn was, right? Like this is the starting of a Realm Reborn, essentially. This is what should have ended World of Warcraft and then moved into either World of Warcraft or Warcraft Reforged or whatever you want to call it, the next instance of World of Warcraft, essentially. So
poor Bill and Scruffy, they're so bored. at this point
Let
right
I mean,
now.
it die, let it
when-
die, let it
when they
shrivel up and
Warcraft.
when they saw Warcraft, they knew what was going to happen. It was
Yeah.
going
Right.
to be me and you nerding out.
That's
yeah, that's what
That's
I've been
fine.
enjoying. I'm just like, these guys are such nerds.
So here's
Hey, man,
here's
you,
hey, we got
you got to remember, this is the shit that we've been playing since I was a child, bro.
Yeah.
I understand the investment. I
completely
really do.
understand.
I mean, yeah, it's so here's the other, and don't worry, Scruffy, we have something for you coming up. The very next time like thing in this is going to be something that you'll be excited about. At least
Oh.
I think. I don't know, but so the question, I guess, more posed to Enigma. So the issue that I have with this is that I don't know if they're going to do a separate tier in the launcher for this, because
Yeah,
that's what people
We
are
talked
saying is
about
like,
this, yeah.
wait, like right now you have classic era, and then you have
And then you
Wrath
have
of Lich
TBC,
King.
right?
No,
Yeah.
you have Wrath of Lich
Or
King.
Wrath. That's what I meant. Yeah, Wrath. Yeah.
So
But
Catac-
prior to that, you had TBC as a secondary, as like every
Up-
bit
up
of
in-
progression that they've ever done has been like on a different server,
up
essentially.
up until you had to load the game. So like you had to install
yeah,
Wrath of Lich King, but it was but you installed, so it went classic, and then that was it, and I had classic era, and then once TBC came out, you installed TBC, but and so that's normal, because well, you either play classic or TBC. But then when Wrath came out, you installed Wrath, it overtook TBC. So you could still do the TBC
Yeah.
content, but you couldn't stay within that TBC world. So this is, people are like,
For sure.
are you going to do a
Make this its own instance?
Right, because you are also talking about like completely wrecking the world. So like if I want to play pre-wrecked but I don't want to play just classic, well, how do I do it? Like
well, that was my original thought. Like I originally thought that was how it happened to begin with, was like every iteration of classic was its own, like its own thing. You know, I was surprised when you told me that was not the case, which to me that's a loss on Blizzard's part. Like there are people out there that are like, I just want to play the Burning Crusade, or I just want to play Wrath of the Lich King.
Though is the problem.
Yeah, but you're still going to split the player base, because there are people that religiously are like, I don't want to play Cataclysm.
Yeah.
So you're already going to split the player base, because those people that don't want to play Cataclysm and just want to play, TBC, are just going to go to a private server that runs only TBC.
Yeah. Because the problem is that the problem is that it doesn't stop like the leveling process. It doesn't stop like that kind of stuff. And it makes the gear like unimportant. So essentially what happens is if I want to play only Wrath and only do ICC, but you load Cataclysm, well, now my level automatically goes up. It makes Right. It makes ICC pointless.
Not only that, but like some of those areas are completely changed.
Right. So it's it's weird
because Cataclysm completely redid the map in some instances. So
I mean, this was a lot of people said Wrath and Mist are their favorite, right? Cataclysm for me was my favorite. Like
that's Wrath of the Lich King is my personal favorite, and then I Pandera was my second favorite, essentially.
Yeah, see, I love
Cataclysm. I didn't mind Cataclysm. I felt the Cataclysm should have been the end of World of Warcraft, even back when Cataclysm started. I was like, this should have been the end, and we should have went into number 2. You know,
how fast do you think we're gonna get to, like, do you think that there's a stop to classic, them redoing this? Like, are
there
we
has
gonna
to be? Like, we've talked about it before. Like, there's, at this rate, within the next 2 years, we're gonna be to
we're classic retail. Like, what?
We're gonna be
like,
classic retail. Yeah, like, we're gonna be classic BFA right in 2 years.
I have to
maybe
believe
that's the play. Maybe they're going to transfer the mainline server into Warcraft 2 or whatever it is, and then classic is going to be the old world.
Yeah, but they're still going to run into that same issue of like, people don't want to play Mist of Pandaria. People don't want to play Cataclysm, right? They're still going to have to separate those out, because there are a huge subsect of the player base that are just like, I don't want to play any of the new shit. I just want to play classic.
Yeah, I think they could maybe do they could do something like how they do with hardcore, where they have like classic, but two servers are hardcore servers, and then they could do hey, you have 2 servers that are TBC, 2 servers that are Wrath, whatever. I mean,
it's gonna be a very interesting one.
Yeah,
I don't know how they're gonna handle it.
Always in their plans to go down this route, because I thought
go down
when they released classic, they weren't going to be adding.
Well, originally they said they weren't going to, but then classic took the fuck off, and everybody was like, "Oh shit." Yeah,
and now they're just going down the route of adding the expansions.
I think that they legitimately will stop with Pandera, because no one really talks about expansions past Pandera being like their love expansions.
Nobody liked what was the one between Pandera and Demon, the I can't remember the name of it now. It was the most underrated, or everybody hated it. I can't remember what it was called though.
Warlords. How about Warlords of Draenor?
Warlords of Draenor. Yes, Warlords of Draenor. Like for a huge subsect of the player base, was the worst.
Yeah,
I
don't think they'll go back to Warlords, but the other thing that they announced for classic was Season of Discovery. So this Season of Discovery actually is very soon. This is happening on November 30th. And they described it as vanilla World of Warcraft with a twist, which pretty much everyone's like Classic Plus. And they wouldn't say Classic Plus, because that's why I still think that they're going to destroy the world and make Classic Plus is basically going to be WoW 2. But essentially, this is what we know as classless WoW. In a way, it's not full classless WoW, but you're gonna have.
Has that been confirmed?
What?
That it's classless.
It's not class. It's not. No. It's not classless. You have class altering abilities. So you're gonna have like a mage tank. You're gonna have a healer.
This is what you were saying, that it was in.
It was kind of copying Ascension. Yeah. Because they have like a lot of class altering abilities. You have like warlock healers, you have hunter, what was one of the things that they had, like hunter mages. So all of these things that like we know in in Ascension is kind of some of these things are coming here. Level
It still doesn't sound as in depth as Ascension.
Oh hell no.
as Ascension.
No,
Okay,
it's not.
yeah.
No, it's not.
Ascension is like lawless. Like you can do whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
you want,
Ascension.
pretty much.
Ascension is a
It's-
playground.
It's
for
a
your
daunting
imagination,
task,
essentially.
dude. It is so daunting
It
sometimes,
is.
bro.
It is.
But
Does
it's
it ever get annoying, Blizzard, like taking
Stealing people's
stuff,
ideas?
Stealing.
even
'Cause
if
first
it's
it
not
was
like
hardcore,
completely
right?
integrated?
Yeah.
I mean, so to answer your question, to answer yes, I do feel like it's annoying that they do, or is it? Do I feel like it's right that they do it? No. Is it lazy?
No,
Yes.
it just doesn't bother you.
So here's why I say no in a way is because like hardcore, I don't want to go through all the bullshit. I want to play hardcore, but I don't want to go through all the bullshit of loading the add-ons and trying to get that shit to work or doing all these other kind of things that I have to do. And like, what, like, this is like, cool. We're going to give you a hardcore server. Okay. Yeah. Did you just dick over the people that did that for
I was
years?
about to say,
Absolutely.
yeah, you're not wanting to support the little guys that have been building it from the ground up. You'd rather support Big Daddy Corpo because it's convenient.
Sin's a whale, man. He
It-
needs the platform to
That's
whale
not
on.
what I said. I didn't say dick over the little guys. I'm just
I
saying
mean,
that it,
by effectively choosing the
Shit.
official hardcore
Uh,
servers over the
mean,
community run ones, that's dicking over the little guy.
okay, well, let me pose you the same question. So, if you go right now, and I want to, and let's go biodiesel for your vehicle, right? So you could go and you could go biodiesel. There's a guy in your in your neck of the woods within probably a fucking 1,000-mile radius that you could pay to take your car and make it biodiesel. It's a lot of a hassle, but you could do it, right? That's the little guy, and you don't have to pay Big Papa, gas company. But you don't choose to do that. Why? Because it's not convenient. Right. So it's the same thing, right? It's not, but you're not saying that guy's a dick or that you don't want to support him. You're just saying, hey, that's not for me. I don't want to do that. Right. Or even if like, I'll make it even closer. If your next door neighbor did it, right, you're still not going to want to do it because it's a hassle to have to go through all of it. It's the same reason that like people don't accept electric cars. Yeah. Electric cars are a lot easier, but it's also a hassle to have to charge them, find charging stations, things like that. So
don't you have an electric car?
Yeah, but I am okay with that, like dealing with that, and I did the brunt. But
we've dedicated and we've seen Sin as a whale.
It's not about being a whale. I'm just saying that sometimes, yeah, ease of it. And I would hope, and my hope is, and I know they didn't, that Blizzard would pay these guys, or say, hey, come work for us, right? And we'll whatever. I don't think that happened, and that's a shame. And I'm not saying it's right. But if you're gonna tell me ease of use, yeah, it is an easier experience than having to install these mods and do all this stuff.
I think a better comparison is let's go back to your biodiesel analogy. You have your neighbor across the way that makes biodiesel. He can only make it small batch though, so you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, or you have to go there more often to refill it. But then the gas company in town catches wind of it and they steal the recipe, and they have way better production on it, so they're able to get it to you in much higher volumes for a little bit higher of a cost. That's more accurate to the analogy.
And I guarantee that you would still do the same. You would do the same thing. You would still continue to use, or you would go with whatever is the most convenient. We're creatures of habit. We're creatures of nature. We don't like resistance. We don't like things that are overly difficult or whatever else, and that's why we go down the route. I'm just saying that WoW makes it easy. Like Blizzard made it easier to play hardcore servers, right? That's it. I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm just saying it's my preferred method to play that versus installing these
Does
mods.
hardcore cost anything?
No.
The hardcore
But-
servers?
It costs you.
I mean, the same subscription
sub.
that you would, that you would
Yeah,
normally
but you would
pay.
need that for the hardcore,
Correct.
like the hardcore.
You-
Okay,
Yes.
You would need it for the mods as well.
Okay.
So
So
that's fine.
Yeah.
It's still
unless
weird, though.
you were playing on a hardcore free to play server.
I get what you're saying, but
I mean,
I just get constantly like put out just seeing Blizzard yoinking mod ideas and then making them official.
But it's dumb. It
It is, and it is lazy.
Granted, they did do like one of the better things that they did for the current iteration was they took their UI, like they took the mods UI, like the ability to like edit your UI, and they integrated that just into retail, right? Which was a great iteration. We needed that for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, right? But yeah, they do take things away from the community that are mod based and integrate it, but I don't know. I think that's any game these days.
I mean, any developer,
In a lot of
anything,
instances.
but Blizzard is notorious for like not innovating. Like their big innovation on classic hardcore was like, oh, we're gonna add Magdara, which is a great innovation, but it's like you could have done a lot more with it, like versus just kind of ganking it and going, oh, cool. They saw Ascension, right, and they were like, oh, this has got some really cool things. We're gonna gank it and put it in ours in a little bit, right? And they're not gonna innovate properly. So that I think is wrong. Like, I mean, overall, I bet.
Let's
Yeah.
move off this.
Yep.
We talked
Okay.
about. I think we've talked about World of Warcraft for far too long.
Scruffy has turned his camera off. He's like turned his light off. He's like, I'm going to bed. Scruffy, this part's for you. Overwatch 2, they got a new hero. It's called Malga, or I thought it was Maui. Honestly, I thought it was fucking.
It basically is Maui.
This is for
It is
you.
Maui.
This is for
Oh
you.
man, thank you so much for serving me some shit.
You're
Overwatch 2. I
welcome.
couldn't give a fucking shit less about it.
You're welcome. Well, you know who else can't give a fucking shit about it? Blizzard, because they obviously also
Yeah.
canceled the Overwatch League. There is no competitive Overwatch League
Well, we knew
anymore.
that was coming for a while. That's no surprise. They stated that I think this was going to be their last year with Overwatch League, or their last season or whatever.
Do you think Overwatch
But-
is fully like completely 100% dead? Like, do you think Blizzard is going
It's
to
not
continue?
dead. They're going to continue it. It's not
think
dead.
it's
I don't know,
dying.
man.
It's
I-
dying, but it's not dead. It's still got a.
I think it's going the way of
community.
HOTS, bro.
It's got a decent
But
player
HOTS
base
is
still, but I
going,
definitely
man. Like,
I
don't-
definitely think that it's not as
understand how
popular
that's
as it
going.
was.
Yeah, no, by far, especially after the switch of Overwatch 2, it definitely deterred. But teetered? Whatever
Deetered? What the hell is
Deetered.
deetered? It deetered.
Dieter.
Deetered. But yeah, no, it definitely is dying. And I can give a fucking shit less about it because after finally they give Hanzo some fucking love and give him this like really dope looking skin, man. And guess what? It's a mythic skin that you have to like grind and grind and grind and grind for. And if you really want to buy it, it's 120 fucking bucks to buy it. Like,
Yep.
Ooh,
Fuck
that's
you.
expensive as shit.
yeah,
Even
is-
for a
is-
whale, I'm like,
is-
God damn.
Is no worse or no better than leagues like $250 chromas. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
Wait, they have a
still, but-
$250 chroma?
Well, like
the
What?
the one
the ones you
the
gotta
recent one
grind
that they
for, right?
released.
Like,
Yeah, the recent
in
the recent one that they
the
released
season.
for Jin was like, I think that you have to grind for the mythic
It's-
crystals or
it's-
whatever.
yeah,
but
it's like a grind, but
essentially
if you
it
wanna pay
comes
to
out to
skip-
be like $250 roughly. Yeah.
if you want to pay to skip it. But
Wow.
anyways, that's I'm just ranting because
Christ.
of my hatred for Overwatch. So
It's such a
Yeah.
weird character too, man. Like you can definitely tell that they went down the Maui route, and I'm just like,
it's so apparent.
why
It's
why
literally-
are
his name
you
is
so
Manga.
yeah why can't you just do something
Be
unique?
original? And that's all we've seen in these past two things
Yeah.
is Blizzard not being able to be original.
It's just a copy of another of another
Yeah.
character with a bit of a twist. Yeah.
man.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well-
Speaking of, there's more to that actually, because they actually stole like a lot of his moveset from that one Overwatch.
Of course they
competitor.
did. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the fuck that
Paladins,
game
right?
is. Paladins, yeah. He's
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got
Yeah,
a
of
very
course.
similar
Well, they've-
a moveset
they've
to
s-
one of the characters in Paladins. He's got the
I don't
charge.
know.
He's got the like the double
Yeah.
gun thing. I think
That's
the only
the
thing
one
you
thing
can do
that-
as kid is the jump.
That's the one thing I mean I don't care so much about because it's still wrong. But every company, every hero shooter
Grant,
steals from each
granted,
other.
I was about to say
everybody.
Paladins
That's
stole
Paladins.
like
Paladins
every one
steals
of their
from-
fucking characters from the
Paladins steals
original
from Overwatch. Overwatch
Yeah,
steals from
true.
Paladins. League steals from Overwatch and Paladins. Like
And
they all
Dota.
they in Dota, they
Dota,
all
yeah.
steal from each other. It's like, yeah, it's one big melting pot of just shit.
You don't want to bounce your
Yeah.
boobies in front of people on Overwatch?
I mean, I do, but not on Overwatch.
Okay.
Just for you guys.
Well, what about Hearthstone? Because they got a new expansion, and
That game's still a thing.
People still play
It's-
Hearthstone.
Yeah,
A lot of people still play
it's a
Hearthstone.
lot,
and
dude. It's
there's-
a
there's-
very very popular game.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
It is
there-
extremely
there's,
popular.
There's several people in my community
I-
that are like still very heavily into it.
They
I
actually
forget about it a
crazy.
lot though.
they actually
do too,
did
yeah.
a really dope thing with this
I
one
love
where
it.
making a catch up mechanic where you can because the big thing about Hearthstone is like it's an impenetrable game to get into right now because if you haven't played for years and years and years and collected cards, like
why
you
I
get
stopped, yeah.
you get
You
fucked.
get dicked
Um,
over.
And so they've made this new system where like you can get caught up really quickly and making it like a you know a better experience. So
Really?
I might actually give it a
Cool.
try then, because
I-
that's the whole reason
That's
I
the
haven't
whole
played
reason I
it.
stopped playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like fell behind and did not want to catch back
my
up.
biggest problem was like the meta in this game is extremely like I don't know. Well, okay, when I played, it was very bad. Like if you weren't playing meta,
Yeah.
you were fucked.
That's-
And I
that's
don't
a
know.
lot
I
of
don't know
these
if that's
games, but
still the
yeah,
case.
I don't know either.
But I don't know, man. They have a huge fan base. Huge fan base.
If
Mhm.
there's that interests me actually.
Yep.
At
And they're
least
coming
interests
out
me
with
more than fucking Overwatch.
they're coming out with like double dragon or two-headed dragon mode.
I
an
remember
emperor
I
mode,
used to
all that
love
stuff.
my Murloc deck. I love that shit.
Yeah. So
It was
um,
good shit.
they also officially I don't think they show it here, but they officially also launched Warcraft Rumble, which is a game that I am playing as well. Warcraft Rumble,
Mm.
it's a free to play mobile game. I really recommend giving it a try. If you are a fan of like the Warcraft universe, you also are a fan of
Clash of Clans, right?
like
Or
Clash of yeah, it's like a Clash of Clans like
or-
no
I don't know,
Clash
there's-
what's the one with like the two like you have two towers and you kind of meet in the middle. That's Clash Royale, right?
I think
Yeah,
that's
Clash Royale. It's very much like Clash Royale, but on a more like difficult level. Like you have different routes you can take, meeting stones, different cards. You can do dungeons, you can do PvP. They have raids. It's really dope. Like it's free to play, really great game. You can actually I'll give it to Blizzard on this one. You can play that completely free without ever having to spending a fucking dollar, dime, ounce,
for now.
and be completely fine. Like you don't ever have to. Like you earn all the currency, all the stuff, like very easily. Yeah, maybe
You
that
don't
might
think
be.
that's gonna change.
Oh yeah, I mean
That's-
they'll obviously have like
Eventually this is gonna
convenience.
change.
They'll
Yeah.
have
It's Blizzard,
convenience
man.
for sure, but I
Yeah.
mean this is done very very well. It has a really
And
great
it's a
PvP
mobile
system.
Blizzard game. Yeah, that's gonna change.
Well, it's I'm hoping that it'll come to PC as well, but
But still, it's
yeah,
still a
but
mobile.
it's
plat-
really great,
uh,
looks great, runs great, phenomenal game.
system.
Go try it out. Warcraft Rumble free to play. They also announced a
How
Diablo
much did they pay
tabletop.
you for that ad?
Don't worry about it.
They didn't pay him.
Don't worry about it.
He paid them.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
What are you talking
worry about
about?
it.
He paid them.
And then there's a Diablo tabletop game coming
Oh,
out
God.
as well. So that was BlizzCon.
One thing I want to say before we move on is like I was actually kind of like there was some good announcements and like the thing with Phil Spencer and Chris Messin was great. I love that. But like honestly, like BlizzCon was kind of boring this year, in my opinion.
A lot of
Like
people that
the-
went there said it was the same thing. They were expecting
Yeah,
Game
it
Pass.
did
They were
not-
expecting
it did
big
not feel like the
swings.
BlizzCons of the past. Yeah.
yeah,
So-
they were expecting big swings. They were expecting
I thought you said dick swings.
no big
thing.
swings. A lot of
Sorry.
us were expecting
My
some type of
mind is
Game Pass
going.
announcement. That never happened. I
I actually
think
heard there was a few people that were like upset that Phil Spencer was there and made a speech at all.
well, that's fucking stupid. Everybody knew he was
That's
going to
just
be
petty.
there. Why the fuck wouldn't you think
Yeah.
he's going to be there? He's been in Anaheim for like 2 weeks prior to. Like,
Yeah, but I don't know. People, I don't know the reasoning. I think people just were like, he's not Blizzard. Why is he here? That kind of.
oh,
thing.
I
Not
beg, I
fan.
beg,
is
I
one.
beg to
Fan no
differ.
more.
$69 billion says different. Like, so, I don't know, man. I think it's fine for him to
Passive
be there.
resistance.
I think him
Yeah.
being there is kind of should have been looked at, and how I look at it is like a turning
Should've
stone
looked
to
at it as
say,
a good thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
hey, you're no longer under the regime of Bobby Boy.
would-
Like,
I would much rather him than Bobby. Like, let's
Yeah.
be
True.
fucking real here.
Yeah.
Like,
Big true.
yeah. So, all right. Well, let's move on to our last topics before we end the night and get over to quick hits and then questions that chat may have entered or asked. Remember all these sex games that are all over all over Steam?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
careful now.
Scruffy
Careful now.
Scruffy is a purveyor of this because this is his topic, and he's actually
Scruffy
really
loves
upset,
this shit, dude.
really upset about this.
No,
But
wait, what do you mean upset? This is a good thing.
no, you're hiding it. You're upset that they're hiding it. You shouldn't be able to hide it.
They're not hiding it. They're giving you the ability to hide that you're playing it from your friends.
Oh, I thought they were hiding it. I read this wrong. Then I thought they were hiding it so that they were like, you don't have to see this
you can't
stupid
hide
shit.
It in the search engine. You have to still
Yeah.
see it, but
You
you
have
can
to
just
see it.
make
I
it
hate
so that
that,
people
dude.
can't see you being a perv.
Now people can't see that you're being a perv.
Yeah.
and
Scruffy
all these sex
Scruffy
games.
loves it.
Dude,
because
I-
he can now hide all of those sex games that he
can go
plays.
play
man.
Honey Pop in peace.
Yeah.
like it having
Oh.
2 teenage boys. One of them, thank God, literally just plays Rust, so he just launches Rust from his home screen.
I
But
would
the
hide that shit.
but the other one is like just a fiend and for finding games and gets bored and stuff like that and constantly browsing the Steam library. I am just
What's
like,
free today?
I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, I wondered for a
I
while.
mean, right
I
off,
can't.
right
I'm
off
gonna.
the bat, this is
I'll say this somewhere else. I'm not gonna say it here.
just looking at Steam, like I can see 2 right off the bat.
I'm
Just
like,
going to Steam's market.
Dude, I just tell I was like, you do not scroll down below the like where it says like I don't know, like games your friends are playing or like
Two,
games that
three,
you're
yeah.
interested in. Like, do not go down below. Like, there's that section. If you go down below that, you're fucked. And I was like, you're not allowed to go
Don't
below
to
this.
Scruffy's profile. No.
Well, it's like everybody knows that bar I'm talking about. It's like new and trending. I'm like, don't go
Yeah.
there. You're not allowed to
Yeah.
see that.
Exactly. They
So-
always have new ones there.
What do I got?
Uh,
If there's one,
oh yeah.
I've only got one.
I thought yeah.
I can't pull it up on stream because it'll overcome it'll overtake your base.
Yeah. Well.
It'll overcome.
Anyway, so okay, like I said, okay,
They're trending above Nickelodeon's All Stars Brawl too.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Did you
Let's
guys
be
talk
real.
about that bullshit?
no,
We don't. have
I
to.
don't think so. Not yet.
no, I haven't bought it yet, so I gotta wait till
No,
I buy
wait,
it.
we did talk about it. You and I talked about it at one point whenever they did the.
I mean, they announced it.
re-release. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it released. They re-released.
and it costs full price, and you get
$50, man.
$50. Holy
$50.
shit! That game's like,
Crazy. I
is
think
that
that's
game?
even more than what it came out when it was for like.
It
what
was
the
20.
other version?
It was $20.
Yeah, it's $50 now, man.
That's wild. That's fucking crazy.
That is so
All right, well,
crazy.
let's talk about something else that has re-released. The Steam Deck. Steam Deck is coming out with a
Steam
Steam
Deck.
Deck OLED, $549. Get you a better screen, battery life. What else did they
Play
do?
your
Actually,
There's-
I'm excited about
games
this.
On the go.
I
The
mean-
cooling is supposedly better and
Yeah.
it's lighter.
Yeah,
And it's coming out with a special edition that's like clear and with like LED, like red LEDs in it. I'm actually kind of excited about this because I've been wanting. I've been kind of like those old retro like Nintendos.
Style, like
Yeah.
everything used to be clear and like
Yeah.
techie.
It's like those old retro Nintendos
cool.
that had like the frosted black.
yeah, dude,
plastic,
I used to
yeah.
love that shit.
I don't know if it's in this Verge article or not, but like I was looking at it on the Twitter post. But I'm actually kind of excited for this because my brother recently bought a Steam Deck and I've been watching him kind of play it and everything like that. And I'm like, I don't ever really go out of my house to play video games. Like I would never do that. But like if I had a Steam Deck, I might start doing that more. You know,
here's your
So
transparent
this-
model.
the OLED with the better screen,
it's
the better screen and the better battery life is actually kind of
Pretty
cool
cool
to
still.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
the,
This-
The
this
biggest
is-
thing I'm interested in is the better cooling because
Yeah.
let me
that
tell
motherfucker
you,
gets hot, bro.
It gets hot and it gets loud. Like playing Baldur's Gate
don't
on
doubt
that
it, yeah.
thing, it fucking screams.
Yeah,
I do
it's-
not doubt it one little bit, man.
I had it on my knee. I was playing on the plane. I had it on my legs, and I'm like, what? I'm
I
on
think, I think
fire.
it also
Like it
I think
burnt
it
my
also comes
hair.
out with better memory as well, like a better MT for memory.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I
So
mean,
you can load games quicker.
I
so.
do hope that they do what Meta did at least for the Quest 2 when it launched. They offered a buyback program. I would love for them to do that. Like I don't think they're going to, but like
I doubt
like
they
a, like a
will,
trade
yeah.
like a trade up program where you could trade up your current Steam Deck.
That would
and
be
get this.
cool
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I would happily do it.
Yeah, so would I.
I don't
just-
regret getting my Steam Deck, but
I don't
it
either.
is
I mean,
a-
I've put a lot of time in it. I just like right now I want the MetaQuest 3 and I have a MetaQuest 2 and you can't trade in the Steam Deck, you can't trade in the MetaQuest. Like I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? Why can't I trade these things in? Your business is literally you are going out of business. Like for God's sake, like you should be taking any kind of thing that you can get sales on right now. So I don't
Right.
know. But
yeah, it's I'm excited for that personally because I was in the market for a Steam Deck, so
I think my
having the new
mouse-
OLED and everything like that, that's nice for me. So
Yeah. Well, guys, we did it. I was afraid we weren't going to be able to do it, but we did it. And so now we're going to get
Right
on to
on
the
time.
last little bit of things, which is Quick Hits. And if you're unfamiliar with the podcast, this is your first one. Quick Hits are a section of the news that we talk about where it's just, fast things, stuff that necessarily doesn't mean that we need to sit down and have long discussions about, but are newsworthy in the sense and you should know about them. So I'm going to fire off these and obviously you guys can stop and tell me where you want to see fit. Microsoft reversed on taking away Game Pass for employees. Philly Boy came in as a white knight and said no.
Phil finally,
Whether or not
read
he
the memo.
yeah, whether or not he had the memo, he did not divulge whether he had the memo on his desk the first time and stamped it clear, but he came in as the white knight and said, we're not going to do this. So they reversed that. Everybody gets that. Last of Us multiplayer is still in development, according to the game director. We will see how that goes. Arc also walked back its idea behind only Nitrado
This is
server
huge.
hosting.
Yeah, this is huge because like Nitrado was not doing well for them, so getting away from that is pivotal.
Yep. The world has its very first AI CEO.
God.
So
This is scary.
yep. Have
This
fun
is
with
this
that
is how
one.
this is how we get to Terminator, guys.
It is,
like, this
yeah,
is how
especially
we get to Terminator.
Terminator,
Because
iRobot, man.
You
like,
want to know
they're
who
gonna
they
take
use
over.
for it's like getting its like thoughts and as a
Oh, no.
baseline. Bobby Kotick. It's crazy. So Bobby and Jim
Yeah.
Ryan in one, they were just like, yo, this is the perfect AI CEO.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Maximize
amalgamation.
profit, minimize
Yes.
happy.
Omegle is dead. So anybody that used
That
Omegle
was a
is
shocker.
Wait, what the
Wait,
fuck?
wait,
Yeah.
Omegle?
fuck?
What the fuck is Omegle?
yeah, it's dead.
Omegle, but yeah,
Omegle,
it was
Omegle,
shut
whatever.
Omegle.
Is Omegle something different than Omegle? I don't know. What the fuck
that's
is
I
like
was
gamer ants,
mid-drink
bro.
and I
That's
had
like
what is there an
Oh,
Omegle?
God.
Is Omegle something I don't know about?
No,
Omegle
Omegle
is-
I've never heard somebody say Omegle.
Whatever.
Want to go
Oh.
on Omegle?
Omegle. I thought it
Oh,
always
God.
was Omegle. Okay, whatever. Omegle is dead. I don't know. What even?
gamer ants?
Are you the kind of person that
I
calls
don't
them
even-
GIFs?
I don't even know. Yes, I don't even
please.
know what they are. What
No, you're
what
not.
what is Omegle? What is it? Is it
It's
just
was
a dating
site
app?
where you could
Video site
you
where you
randomly
can-
got synced up with people to either text
You've-
or video chat.
you've-
Basically,
yeah.
it's a bunch of dicks.
That's what I was gonna say. So
You've
this is a site where I
probably-
get so
you've-
my
you've
penis
probably
gets shown.
seen it. You've probably seen it in like there. A lot of people use it for like YouTube content where they're like, "Oh, I went on Omegle and,
So,
played video."
I guess-
That's why
played
I guess-
was
music
so
for people."
shocked to see that it just all of a sudden shut down because like it was a huge content generator.
Well,
for-
let's
for a lot of people.
let's be
Like,
real
They were
here,
probably
Scruffy.
getting sued to fucking
That's what
hell.
I was about to say. Let's
gonna
let's
get to,
be real,
yeah.
Scruffy. It's
Yeah.
probably underage kids.
I was about to say how
getting
many
shown dicks.
how
Tons of violations that go on that site that
Yeah.
should not.
I guess
do
Kick
feel
is
for
Kick
the,
is dead.
happening.
I do feel for the Omegle content creators that were actually doing like legit
Yeah.
things on the site.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that's
that does suck because
Yeah.
there's a lot of them I watched too that were genuinely funny and creative.
You watch
Yeah.
it for the
But-
dicks. Don't lie.
Hey,
Weird.
only on Tuesdays.
Yeah, I guess Kick is dead, but
Um,
they have Monkey app, right? Isn't that the next thing? Like Monkey is like the app that I don't know. Whatever.
What
Omegle, Omegle,
Oh, it's Omegle.
Omegle's dead.
Omegle is dead.
Omegle's dead
Rip-
with Mobley
Rip
Dick and
Omegle.
Consolidate that map on Rainbow that we all hate. It's an inside joke. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. We didn't announce this. Rainbow Six announced a new map called Layer. It's
yeah.
coming out in December. And then Grand Theft Auto trailer is getting its trailer and announcement on December 6th. That's pretty big news.
Hell yeah!
We won't see it for another 20 years, but it's at
I
least
know
getting
Bill's
an-
not excited for
Are
that.
you
but,
actually
you know.
excited for this, Enigma?
Yeah, bro, I've played every Grand Theft Auto, literally every Grand Theft
I
Auto.
didn't know you played 5 though.
Yeah, I put a lot of hours into 5, both online and single player.
Why do you hate Grand
Never
Theft
knew
Auto
that.
again, Bill?
oh, I just don't like Rockstar.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why,
Um,
bro. Rockstar's amazing, except for when they don't support their games, like every one of their other fucking games.
I don't know if I'd say Rockstar is amazing. I
Yeah.
would say
Nah.
Rockstar
Especially with
is
that Red Dead shit they've been
something.
Rockstar, the company is terrible. Their games are amazing.
Rockstar lost me after San Andreas when they started
San Andreas was amazing.
getting like super handholdy and like
I've
forcing
heard-
you to do missions like a specific way. Like the
I've-
whole invisible barrier where you walk outside of it and it resets the mission for you. Like they
Yeah.
took what was supposed to be like some of the most creative games out there and turned them into very linear story-based experiences with an attacked on online mode that they can monetize to all hell.
I've heard that there's rumors going around that the new Grand Theft Auto will be set in Miami, and it could possibly be sets in like the 70s again, like the 80s, 70s, kind of Vice City themes. So I'm curious to see if that's true or not. If that's true, that's gonna be huge.
You got a little under a month, and you'll be able to find out.
Hell
And then
yeah.
Twitter is adding live chat to their live streams. So there you
Yeah.
go.
A basic feature. Congrats,
Yeah.
Twitter. You're
Good job,
getting
Twitter.
up there with the
X.
big boys.
They're getting
Well
there.
done.
All right. Well, we do have an answer to the question that I asked around the killers that
More
we'd like to
icons.
see in DBD, and this goes to all of us, and it comes from Ghost456, and he says your mom. So there we go. That was the answer that we got.
Right.
Yeah.
All
That'd be
right.
a scary one.
Yeah.
That would be a scary mom, bro.
My
Can
mom
you
would
can
just,
you
like,
imagine?
make people like
Can you
super,
imagine?
like,
Can you imagine
nice.
like a Mexican mom with her shoe,
like
whatever they
uh,
do,
the
chacala or whatever.
All right, I
Probably
missed.
butchered
I'm
that.
sorry. We also have one from Celia Frostborn saying the Blob. Chicken Boy also said Patrick
the
Bateman.
Blob would be interesting.
A werewolf or vampire, and then Abram Lincoln Vampire Slayer, and also Red Demon from Insidious.
Abram?
Abram.
I said,
Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, I just read that wrong. I just read that wrong.
Omegle Gamer and Abram Lincoln.
Abram.
Whatever. Okay.
Oh my gosh. This is
All
some
right, let's
knobbly
end
dick
the
going on
podcast.
Are we good? Are we
Oh,
done?
Shit.
Are we good?
Oh,
Okay,
God.
cool. For the Prep
That's gonna
Patch,
be-
the Prep Patch
The Prep-
podcast. We are
The Prepache podcast.
Red page.
the
The prep page.
the Prep Patch the Prep Patch podcast
Oh,
episode 104
Why
is
are we
out of
like
here.
this?
Y'all have a wonderful night, guys. We will see you next week, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch
Oh,
and
God.
YouTube. Go check out some of our other videos and all that kind of stuff on our YouTube Pre-Patch Podcast, or go check us out on anchor.fm/Pre-Patch Podcast or any of your
Oh,
podcast apps. We will see you next week where people can make fun of the way that I say words. Again, goodbye.
Dices,
Hasta luego.
everybody. Dices.